The power of the Emperor. The power of the Emperor. Dragon slash. The judge is going for his life. The three powers fell down at almost the same time. Long Fei's eyes widened, his fists clenched tightly, his heart extremely anxious. I have to catch up. I have to catch up. I have to. Rumble. 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 The earth quaked and the mountains shook. The entire 18th level of hell was shaking as if it was about to crack. Dust flew everywhere. It was impossible to see what was happening clearly. However, Long Fei did not feel any pain. However, King Yama's heavenly laughter rang out. At the same time, a system announcement rang out in Long Fei's mind. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Tiancho, for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining God's Bone Taboo. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Goblin Tribe's Sovereign Blood Vein. Do you wish to fuse it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Demon Eyes of Destruction. Do you wish to fuse them? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Extermination. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, War God level 7. The system sounded out continuously. The voice ended. Long Fei became excited. Ha ha ha. King Yama, you won't be able to kill me. Ha ha ha. Upgraded. The injuries on his body healed in an instant. After leveling up, no matter how severe the injuries were, they would be instantly healed, and even the last bit of health point would be fully recovered. The true chi he used up also recovered in an instant. There was no pain at all in his body, and that was it. Long Fei laughed out wildly. I'm still alive. King Yama's forehead sank, and he started laughing maniacally. Ha ha. Kid, you are alive, but one of you is going to die. He could clearly feel the life-threatening power of the judge. If it wasn't Long Fei, then it must be someone else. At this moment, Long Fei's mind tensed up. He looked up, and suddenly a drop of blood landed on his face. Senior. Long Fei's voice darkened. The spirit chi, released from his body, shook the dust off, and his line of sight cleared up. Long Quangtian revealed a kind smile. His dragon back was stabbed into the judge's pen, and his dragon body was also quickly recovering. Seeing Long Fei, he was very happy, very happy. Long Fei was dumbstruck. Senior. He did not expect Long Quangtian to block this move for him. He felt extremely uncomfortable. Long Quangtian chuckled. I died a long time ago. Don't be sad for me. He had to thank Long Fei, because Long Fei had given him hope, and that kind of hope was something that he had been searching for in the past 10,000 years. When he saw Long Fei, he felt that Long Fei could pass on his will, to be able to do what he had not done. Long Fei's body started to tremble. No, no, Senior, I will bring you out. I will take you back to the Long family. Return to the Long family? Ha ha ha. King Yanluo laughed crazily once again. You still want to meet Long family after coming to my territory? Little bastard, although your time is not up yet, but since you broke the rules and came to our underworld, then don't even think about leaving this place alive, and don't even think about leaving this place as a ghost. Boom. The eyes of the Yama king turned sinister. The judge pen on the dragon's back flew out and floated in the air. It once again pierced towards Long Quangtian. King Yama laughed disdainfully. Long Quangtian, you have been arrogant for your entire life, and in the end, you will still die by my hands. Ha ha ha. No, Long Fei roared. Without caring about anything else, Yan Huang ancestor immediately said, You are not this natal implement's opponent. Brat, you cannot go. His power immediately bound Long Fei. Not just Yin Huang ancestor. Long Quangtian's strength also suppressed Long Fei and said, "Kid, you must live, you must live. It doesn't matter if I die, as long as you can live." Boom. The judge's pen fell. Long Quangtian's spine was completely destroyed, and he immediately turned back into a human by the side of his dragon form. He then heavily smashed onto the ground and nailed himself firmly to the ground. Rumble. An enormous crater exploded out on the ground as Long Quangtian was completely crushed. King Yama laughed out wildly. "Long Quangtian, aren't you arrogant? Did it feel good now?" "Ha ha ha. You didn't expect such a day to come, did you?" Within the underworld, Yama Minamiya had been helpless against Long Quangtian, all this while wanting to purify him. However, he had never succeeded. Now that he had crushed Long Quangtian, he was incomparably happy. Puff. Long Quangtian spat out a mouthful of blood and laughed. "King Yama, is that all you've got?" "Ha ha ha. It's not enough to tickle me. You can still be crazy at a time like this. I really admire you, Long Quangtian. As long as you kneel down and kowtow to me, I will spare your dog life." The king of hell proudly laughed. Long Quangtian smiled blandly. "King Yanluo, I still remember when you knelt down and begged for mercy." Not waiting for him to finish, King Yama was once again enraged. "You're courting death." It was his scar. His heart was in eternal pain. That year, he knelt in front of Long Quangtian. That kind of scene had made him feel extremely unhappy all these years. His hatred had never disappeared, and he had always wanted to deal with Long Quangtian as well. So much so that he agreed to all of Yi Tianqiu's requests. Unexpectedly, Yi Tianqiu was still killed. However, it doesn't matter. The current Long Quangtian no longer had any room to retaliate. The judge's brush once again flew into the air and said coldly, "Long Quangtian, you're not going to kneel, are you? All right. You want this little bastard to leave hell alive? I'm going to let him die here. I'll give you another chance now. Kneel down and kowtow to me, or else I'll kill him." King Yama's gaze darkened as he stared at Long Fei. Long Fei's gaze tightened and said, "If you have the guts, then blast me to death right now." Not waiting for him to finish. Plop. Long Quangtian suddenly knelt down and kowtowed heavily and said, "You have won. I beg you, please spare his life." Kneeling. Long Fei was dumbstruck. Suddenly, he thought of the kneeling Lu Luoshi had given him and crazily shouted in his heart, "Senior!" King Yama laughed complacently. "Long Quangtian, you have such a day. Ha ha ha. You have never knelt in your entire life, and now you are finally kneeling before me. Ha ha ha." He was laughing gleefully. Even Yama Minamiya himself was surprised. He did not expect Long Quangtian to kneel down right away. Baidu's sister-in-law, a half. Floating Life strongest upgrade system, Long Quangtian said slightly, "I'm kneeling. I'm fine with anything you want me to do. I'm begging you, let him leave the underworld." Ha ha ha. You don't like the way you kneel? King Yama laughed sinisterly. "But you want me to let him go? Then do I have any face at all? The more you care about him, the more I want to kill him. Ha ha ha." Chapter 48_8419/2356797. Shameless. Shameless. Despicable and shameless. The anger in Long Fei's heart was also raging nonstop. Lu Luoshi's kneeling caused him to be incomparably furious. At that time, he was unable to protect his own woman, unable to overturn Hong Tianjun. Now, this person was even his ancestor, the Long family. Kneeling twice also made Long Fei especially unhappy. Anger. This anger made Long Fei go crazy. Long Quangtian said as he furrowed his brows, "King Yama, Are you really not afraid of the heavens' retribution because of how despicable you are? Ha ha ha. Long Quangtian, I have always been so despicable and shameless. Can you bite me? Looking at Long Quangtian kneeling on the ground and kowtowing to him, he was incomparably happy. Long Fei became angry and said, Child Yama, do you really think this daddy is afraid of you? King Yama was enraged and sneered coldly. If I, Long Quangtian, am able to suppress him, how can a mere Long family like you be able to overturn the heavens? How about this? Little bastard, kneel down and kowtow to me right now. I will let you live, and I will also let Long Quangtian live. Kneel down and kowtow. The king of hell had a playful expression. Anger raged within Long Fei's heart as he leapt up and roared, I'll kneel to your 8 ancestors. As he was in the air, Long Fei's strength was aimed at the judge pen and smashed down heavily. Boom. The judge hurriedly retracted his pen and disappeared. Long Fei's attack missed. King Yama laughed, ha ha ha. You're too weak. However, since you are willing to kneel, then go to hell. The center of Yama Minamiya's brows sunk as the judge's pen drew out a golden, lightning bolt that struck Long Fei. Long Fei was not the least bit afraid. There was only anger. His gaze darkened as he said, Let's see who kills who then. Long Quangtian shouted loudly, Be careful! At this moment, boom, wong, a dark purple energy exploded and sent the pen flying. Then, all the purplish-black flames quickly condensed. The sky spirit walked out from the purplish-black colored flames. He faced the sky and revealed a sinister and evil sneer as he said, King Yama, you can't touch him. Heavenly Spirit. Long Quangtian's expression changed. Body of evil. The space between Yama King's eyebrows shook. You. The natal implement flew away. Compared to before he had entered the 18 hells, the divinities were much stronger. At this moment, black symbols covered his entire body, making him look extremely malevolent. As soon as he finished, the heavenly spirit halo landed beside Yi Tianqiu's corpse, the corner of its mouth slightly curled, and said, Give me your strength. Absorb. With the heavenly spirit sucking in, the power within the black bones in Yi Tianqiu's body was sucked into his body crazily, and the baleful force in his body underwent a rapid transformation, madly getting stronger. The black bones on Yi Tianqiu's body started to decay one by one. He turned into powder. Yi Tianqiu also returned to his scholar form. Then, with a gust of wind, his body turned into dust and disappeared. Huff! It would be even better if I could open the 5th level of the Forbidden Zone. But that's enough. The heavenly spirit smiled slightly, turned around, and looked at Long Fei. The corners of his mouth hooked up as he said coldly, You set up the seal in my body. Break. Boom. With a huge explosion, the seal in his mind was instantly broken through. His eyes also became more evil. The seal was set up by the Yen Huang ancestor. It didn't matter if he did not break through Long Fei's defense. If it was him, he wouldn't even set up Seal S for the Holy Spirit realm. Now, he had broken through. Long Fei looked at him and said, I'll break through then. I don't have time for you right now. I don't care if you are a body of evil or something like that. I have no interest right now. You either stand to the side and watch or scram. He had a strange expression on his face. There was only one thing that Long Fei wanted to do right now, to overturn King Yama. The sky spirit got angry and said coldly, You dare to talk to me like that? Long Fei's eyes shook, and he angrily shouted, Scram! Finished. Long Fei did not even bother to look at the heavenly spirit, not to mention that he was not even heavenly spirit King Kong. Long Fei would not even bother to look at him, because he is Long Fei. The sky spirit became angry and said in a deep voice, "If I didn't want to borrow your power to leave hell, you would already be dead." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei was also extremely angry. He took a step forward. Three-rate peerless technique. Explode. Demon eyes of destruction. Fuse. Long Fei unleashed his power and rushed to the side of the heavenly spirit. Devil snake's eye. Boom. A stream of petrification power shot out. The heavenly spirit's reaction was extremely fast. It could be said to be a god, but it was still petrified because Long Fei's speed was not slow either. His fists moved. He struck out with all his might, punching the sky spirit in the face, roaring, "Stop being cocky in front of me." Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Such crazy attacks. His fists were like a torrential downpour as they landed on the face of the celestial spirit. The rage that exploded from his body ruthlessly smashed out. Each time was heavier and stronger than the last. Before the celestial spirit could react, it was completely crushed. Moreover, Long Fei didn't give him any chance to resist at all. Every time he was hit, it would land on his, causing flowers to bloom on his. But the sound of the punches rang out. If you hit the sky spirit, you can't take care of yourself. Long Fei glared at him. "Today, I'll teach you a lesson in place of your mother. I'll give it a try in front of me in the future. Try speaking to me in a weird tone and see how I deal with you." Finished. Long Fei didn't even look back as he walked to the other side and stared at the king of hell. "It's your turn." The sky spirit in the deep pit was very unhappy. He started to cry unhappily. His ass was blooming. The pain was so excruciating. The heavenly spirit crawled up and flew into the air, staring fiercely at Long Fei, and said, I hate you." Long Fei raised his gaze, stared at the heavenly spirit in the sky, shouted, and said, "What did you say?" The sky spirit immediately shrank. Long Fei shouted again, "Why are you flying so high? I don't like to talk. Look up and get down." The heavenly spirit wanted to resist, but when it saw Long Fei's expression, it immediately flew down. Then Long Fei looked at the sky again and said, "King Yama, it's your turn. Don't you want to kill me? Now use your natal implement to blast it away." King Yenluo's eyes turned cold as he said, "Let me see what you are capable of." The idea moved. The judge pen once again released a streak of golden lightning that struck Xiang Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. He was sent flying with a single step, just when he wanted to cut down the judge's pen. The sky spirit took a step forward and roared, "King Yama, what the hell do you have to say?" Power of the Dost. Ruins. A purplish-black power was drawn on his fists. With a sudden attack, a powerful force rushed out. This was an attack of incomparable fury from a heavenly spirit, and its power was especially terrifying. He hit the judge's pen heavily. Boom. The judge's pen flew out, piercing through the thick clouds. Equals half carat float. Hashtag life carat. Crack. The sky split open. The 18th level of the infernal realm had been broken. Charge out. Chapter 5. Thank you for your support. 8_8419/2356798. Charge out. Charge out. He broke through. He broke through the 18th level of hell. It was pierced by the natal implement judge pen used by the Yama King. In that instant, Long Fei shouted without hesitation, "Go out and kill them." King Yenluo was startled. "You want to go out? It's not that easy." As soon as he finished, King Yenluo muttered to himself, "Purification of the dead soul and refining of the heavenly might, open for me." A surge of power burst out from his body, instantly covering the entirety of the 18 hells. At this moment, the 18 hells opened up with the purification power. "This is bad," the Yen Huang ancestor shouted. "The 18 levels of hell have started to cleanse. This Yama king has gone mad as well. He wants to use the power of heaven to refine everything within the 18 levels, including you." King Yenluo laughed out wildly and said, "Just wait until you become a part of hell. Ha ha ha." The forehead of the sky spirit shook as well. Long Quangtian looked at Long Fei. His eyes tensed up as he said, "Charge out." King Yama laughed. "Charge out? Do you think my 18th level of hell is so easy to break out of? Long Quangtian, you're thinking too much." When he activated the power of purification of the heaven's might, the 18 layers that were pierced by the judge's brush started to recover at an extremely fast speed. Whoosh! Long Quangtian took a step forward and transformed into a dragon. Roar! He released a dragon's roar and used his own body to be stuck in the crevice. He shouted at Long Fei, "Charge out!" Long Fei's heart trembled. "Senior!" The sky spirit could not care so much and shouted, "Do you still want to leave the underworld alive?" "You don't want to, but I want to. Hurry up." The sky spirit took a step forward and landed at the crack. Even though Long Quangtian had turned into a dragon, his body was still constantly accumulating blood, and he was frantically spitting out blood. King Yenluo laughed maniacally and said, "Long Quangtian, I would like to see whether your physical body is stronger than mine or my power of purification. This is the power of the higher-ups. Ha ha ha." Seeing Long Quangtian violently spurting blood, King Yama was exceptionally happy, although Long Fei could not bear to do so. At this time, he did not hesitate either. He rushed to the crevice and looked at Long Quangtian, who was in pain. Long Quangtian looked at Long Fei and said, "Kid, Long family will depend on you." Long Fei said, "Senior, Long Quangtian thought that Long Fei was going to talk about the matter of his own negative activation to dragon blood, so he smiled and said, "The first generation patriarch is also a part of the negative activation to dragon blood, but he is the strongest person in our Long family. You will also definitely become the strongest warrior in Long family. There's more. Brat, I am the 50th generation patriarch of the Long family. From my previous generation, the strong warriors of the Long family have mysteriously disappeared. The thousands of strong warriors of the 500th generation have disappeared. No one knows where they went to. In order to find the answer, I came to the underworld. I didn't expect them to not be here. If possible, you must find those seniors. Something big must have happened to Long family. You must find out. We can't let this Long family repeat the same mistake again. You understand?" Puffed. While speaking, Long Quangtian spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. His purpose in coming to the underworld was very simple. He wanted to find out where the ancestor of the Long family had gone to, because in his era, the first 500 generations of patriarchs were not dead yet. They were all the strongest people on this continent, and the Long family was an existence that no one could shake. However, they suddenly disappeared overnight, and everything about them disappeared, as if they had never existed. Long Quangtian kept searching, but even at the moment of his death, he had not found any clues. Even after entering the underworld, he still did not find anything. The thousands of experts in Long family would not be able to suddenly evaporate all of a sudden. At that time, there was no one in the Tianwu continent who could achieve such a feat. Long family was unrivaled at that time. Long Quangtian knew that there must be some secret hidden inside, or the arrival of the heaven ranker caused all of them to. He had not been able to find it in his entire life. Right now, his will had to be passed down to Long Fei, and Long Fei had to find the answer to the secret of the Long family, because he was not only Long Fei. Furthermore, he was the new master of the Dragon Salyer. Just now, he felt that the Dragon Salyer's might was very strong, very strong. Even the Dark Dragon God had taken a liking to Long Fei, so the ancestor of Dark Dragon God chose Long Fei. This also meant that he had to bear everything that belonged to the Long family. After Long Quangtian finished speaking, he said, "Kid, the rise of the Long family is dependent on you. You must unravel the secret of the Long family and must definitely find the ancestor of the Long family. Remember, our Long family and the dragon race are closely related. You must remember this. You must find the Long family and the dragon region. You must." Looking at Long Quangtian's pale face, Long Fei could not say a single word and could only keep nodding his head. Long Quangtian laughed crazily. "King Yama, come!" Roar! His body suddenly exploded, and the power of a dragon burst out, once again breaking through the rift. It was also at this time Long Quangtian swung his tail, immediately grabbing Long Fei, and roared, "Escape!" King Yama's heart sank. "Long Quangtian, don't even think about it." Long Fei was dumbstruck. She pulled him back and looked at Long Quangtian, thinking in her heart, the people from the Long family. Who exactly are they? Long Fei rushed out of the 18 layer of hell. At this moment, Long Quangtian looked at Long Fei and laughed wildly. People of the Long family never admit defeat, never lose. If you survive, you have to be crazy. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. To live on is to be crazy. Long Quangtian's wild laughter resounded throughout the 18 levels of hell. Then, his two malevolent eyes stared at a certain place. "King Yama, I'll send you off." What do you want to do? Long Quangtian, what do you want to do? You madman, you... The king of hell trembled as the power of his idea frenziedly surged forth. However, but it was tightly bound by Long Quangtian. Long Quangtian laughed wildly once again. Ha ha ha! Dragon explosion! Rumble! Rumble! A violent explosion rang out, and the entire ghost realm was shaking. The entire 18th level of hell was collapsing, and King Yama let out a roar like a pig being butchered. It was incomparably painful. Dragon explosion. The dragon crystal Long Quangtian cultivated with completely released all of the power within it. It exploded outwards like a primordial spirit explosion, and the consequences were unimaginably terrifying. This explosion, Long Quangtian was also dead. However, even if he didn't explode, he wouldn't be able to live long. The injuries on his body were too severe. He was being suppressed by E.T. Ancho, and he was being suppressed by King Yama's natal implement. Moreover, when he saw the future of Long family on Long Fei, he was gratified that he had no choice but to do so for Long Fei's sake. Rumble. Floating life. Table of contents. No windows. A++ the moment Long Fei charged out of the 18th level of hell. He felt a peerlessly powerful energy rush out. Even the sky spirit was pale with fright. Too strong. Aha! King Yama was still alive. Chapter 18_8419/2356799. Uffed. Uff. King Yama's estate. King Yenlua's face was pale, his clothes were torn, and he looked to be in an extremely sorry state. His entire body was spurting out blood. His expression was one of extreme anger. Damn it, damnable Long Quangtian, since you're using the dragon explosion. King Yama was furious, and then the King of Hell's forehead twitched as thousands of energies burst out from his body. It was also at this time. Ah! In the ghost city, millions of undead ghosts let out a blood-curdling screech and vanished into thin air. Half a minute. King Yama's body rapidly recovered, and his face turned red. After absorbing the power of tens of thousands of ghosts, his body was finally fully healed. Ha ha ha. King Yanluo laughed wildly and said, Long Quangtian, you want to blow me to death? With just you. Wahahaha. You are dead now, and the next step will be the lame duck of the Long family. In the future, I will let the people of the Long family live in nightmares forever. I really want to see how your Long family will continue to rise to prominence. The king of hell was furious. He stared at Oxhead and shouted, Have you found the person I told you to look for? Oxhead immediately reported, Lord, we found it. All right. In my territory, I want to see how you will fight me. Ha ha ha. Now that Long Quangtian was already dead, what was there for him to be afraid of? No one needs to be afraid. He did not even put a mere Long Fei in his eyes. He wanted to fiercely torture Long Fei to death. Horseface asked carefully, Sir, what do we do now? King Yama said, Wait until he rush out and let me search through the entire city. They must be somewhere in Ghost City. Send out all the evil spirits. We must find him. Yes, sir. The 18 levels of hell had collapsed. Long Fei and the heavenly spirit was also blasted out by the shock waves. It was as if they had crawled into a tunnel of time. A few minutes later, bam! Long Fei and the Holy Spirit were in the same room. At this moment, Little beauty, I'm here, hee. I just finished looking at the second half of my sister-in-law's allure. I can't take it anymore. An evil ghost rubbed his hands together. He was extremely excited as he muttered, This time, it will definitely be possible. This time, it will definitely be possible. There's already a reaction. Ha ha. He rushed to the bed with a hungry look on his face. The woman with her hands and feet tied continued to struggle as she cried out, Help! Help! Someone help! Someone help! The evil ghost saw her struggling and became even more excited. Even if you scream until your throat breaks, no one will save you. You just have to listen obediently. The woman was stupefied. Break my throat, break my throat, break my throat. The evil ghost trembled and was a bit confused. Are you retarded? I don't care. I've endured for 10 days and was almost killed when I took a few pills. If I see that kid again, I'll definitely twist his head off. Just thinking about it made the evil ghost feel infuriated, gave him a rank, fierce pill, which he did not pour out in one night. Indeed, he didn't fall. It was extremely firm and sharp. It was even more powerful than a small steel cannon. However, once he straightened up, his stomach would churn and his butt would crackle like firecrackers, uncontrollably pulled out. Moreover, it was a mess. As he was feeling uncomfortable and spitting shit on his butt, the room was filled with an unpleasant smell of feces. He thought he was too nervous. He softened and did it again, but the result was the same again. The front was as firm as a small steel gun, while the back was crackling with firecrackers. The rhythm was simply invincible. 10 days. The medicinal effect of the pill lasted for a full 10 days. It was so powerful that it was practically unstoppable. Huff. Fortunately, Master Huang was here. It was his sister-in-law who saved me. Ha ha ha. Little beauty, today you are mine. Bring it on. The evil ghost rushed forward. He started chewing on the girl. At this moment, there was a bang sound in the room. The evil ghost was instantly angered. Who the hell wants to die? You dare to disturb this father? Do you think I won't kill you? He turned around and looked. He stared straight ahead as the anger in his heart flared up. Good boy. So it turns out to be you little bastard. I have been looking for you for a whole 10 days. I didn't expect you to bring us here yourself. Long Fei looked at him, then at the woman on the bed, and laughed. Is my pill good? You. The evil ghost had a hideous expression, and the anger in its heart burned even brighter. It lifted its sleeves and took out the remaining 2 pills from its bosom. It shouted, "Today I will let the heavens down." He took a step forward. He directly pounced forward, locking Xiang Longfei's throat with one hand and putting the pill into Long Fei's mouth with the other. But right at this moment, Long Fei slightly moved his right leg to block the attack. Bam! The evil ghost fell down like a dog eating shit. Then, the 2 pills were mysteriously eaten in his mouth. Long Fei's footsteps shook. Yi Zichen sent him flying, and with a slap of his right palm, he sent the 2 pills in his mouth directly into his stomach. Gudong! The evil ghost's face changed. Then, crackling sounds started coming from his buttocks. It was even more intense this time. It was not the sound of firecrackers, but rather the kind that keeps trains close to the tunnels, and besides, her face was completely red. His legs were tightly clamped, but he was unable to control himself. Crack! The evil ghost directly rushed through the door and threw it into the toilet, loudly shouting, "I will definitely kill you! I will definitely kill you!" Ha ha ha! The woman on the bed laughed loudly. It's already the 11th day. Long Fei looked at the girl and thought to himself, wow, I didn't think that the effects of the pellet would be maintained for so long. I should need it more next time. Actually, Long Fei did not know. When he was refining the steel mixture, his body absorbed the fierce aura from many of the spirit grass. The medicinal pills he knocked out naturally contained the fierce strength. However, most of it was from the force of leaking out. The front was firm, while the back continuously flowed. This kind of feeling was too good to be ignored. The lady then looked at Long Fei and said with a serious face, "Shouting throat breaking is indeed useful. If anyone dares to bully me in the future, I will scream, 'Throat breaking, humph!'" The evil spirits were bombing the latrine. Boom, boom, boom. It was impossible to leave the toilet in a short period of time, so Long Fei was not in a hurry to deal with him. He looked at the Sky Soul and asked, "Do you want to leave?" With a grin, the man said, "If I didn't go out, why would I have followed you?" Long Fei glared at him. The Sky Spirit immediately lowered its head and replied fearfully, "Yes." Thinking about the scene of his, but blooming, he started to fear. He was a body of evil. He was not afraid of the heavens. Not even the king of hell could kill him. Table of contents equals semi/floating life plus. He didn't know why he was so afraid of Long Fei spanking him. Actually, he did not know, and Long Fei himself did not know that he carried the will of his mother. Hence he was afraid. Long Fei said, "I can leave, but the condition is that I have to kill King Yenluo." Chapter 28_8419/2356800. Long Quangtian had died for him. Long Quangtian had died for him. Kneel for him. He had no choice but to take revenge. Moreover, King Yama was despicable and shameless. His sinister and despicable appearance made Long Fei feel extremely unhappy. Also, there was another reason. King Yama was the boss, the strongest boss in the underworld. If Long Fei didn't kill him, it would be boring even if he left, so he had to kill King Yama no matter what. However, he had one more important thing to do before that: find Xie. This was the reason why he came to the underworld, and he had to fulfill it. This was also his promise to Xie and the other female disciples of Evil Sound Sect. He did not want to disappoint them. Thinking about Evil Sound Sect, Long Fei felt a chill in his heart. I wonder what happened to them first. As for Li Yuanba and Arhut, they don't know what's going on either. I hope you're all okay. In another place, Evil Sound Sect. Achio, Achio. Who's thinking of me? I missed you so much. Hurry, that 10,000 blade sect person is charging up again. Arhut said disdainfully. Li Yuanba's eyes turned cold. Motherf asterisk Kerr. It has already been 10 months. Wouldn't it only end with death? I will definitely cripple them today. 10 months. For the next 10 months, the so-called Orthodox sects continued to besiege the Evil Sound Sect. All of them wanted to snatch the Evil Sound Sectess. And this was the place with the densest amount of spiritual chi of heaven and earth. These second-rate sects were just cannon fodder. The people who truly wanted to get their hands on this place were the big sections. They were the masterminds. However, they didn't appear. Because Long Fei being able to kill the 7 great demon sects was something that they were afraid of. But for an entire 10 months since Long Fei destroyed the Blood Sea sect, he had not appeared again. Will he die? Maybe. With the death of that brat Long Fei, the Evil Sound sect would no longer pose any threat. No matter what, we have to send more people to take care of this place before the new year. This is our best gift to the Heaven sect. Hong Tianjuan's grand wedding. Ha ha ha. The current power of the Heaven sect surpasses Nantian sect. If we perform well, we might become a branch of the Heaven sect in the future. Ha ha. Tell our brothers to work harder. We must take down the Evil Sound sect. There is only one mountain left. The 7 great demon sects were quickly overrun. The sects that had been occupied quickly followed the sections. Among them, there were 4 sects that had followed the Heaven sect, and the Devil sect that they had taken over was also quickly taken over by the disciples of the Heaven sect. With these places where the spiritual chi of heaven and earth was richer, the Heaven sect's power had increased by leaps and bounds over the past year. As long as they could take down the Evil Sound sectess, the Heaven sect would basically become the overlords of the southern domain, completely surpassing their former number 1 sect, Nantian sect. It was all because of one person, Hong Tianjun, all because of his influence. The title of number 1 genius of the South Horizon region had tremendous influence. Gu Hun stood at the top of the mountain, seeing the countless disciples charging towards him from the Evil Sound peak, his brows knitted tightly, and thought to himself, Long Fei, where did you go in the end? Wild Ghost's expression was also very ugly as he said, Old soul, all the things that we have done in the past few years have all gone to waste. There is basically no hope for the devil race to rise again. Sigh. The era of the South Horizon region's demons is completely over. As the 2 demon elders, they had already lost their confidence in the future of the demon race. They looked at Li Yuanba and Arhut, and this made them feel gratified. Underworld. With a smile, she replied, You're the boss, the boss. I just want to go out and take revenge for my mother. I also want to find that person and ask him why he abandoned us, and why he wants to kill us. At this moment, one of the imps walked into the yard and said loudly, Boss, the sect master has gathered everyone. He has an urgent mission. Crack. The toilet was still being bombed. The little ghost pinched his nose and shook his head as he sighed. Boss, why do you have to go through so much trouble? Forget it. I'll go ask for a leave of absence for you. If you go like this, I'm worried that the sect master will beat the shit out of your ass. The kid shook his head and sighed. He turned around and was about to leave. The evil ghost wanted to call out to him, but he was too exhausted to even make a sound. Long Fei slightly said, It seems that King Yenluo still does not know our position. All right then. Tianling, before I kill King Yenluo, I want to find someone Who are you looking for? Long Fei said, This is my purpose in going to the underworld, to find my sister's 3 souls and 7 souls. The heavenly spirit asked again, Who is your sister? Maybe I do. Long Fei rolled her eyes at him. Although she did not want to die, she still said it out loud. Xie Qin. The man shook his head and said, I don't know him. At this moment, the lady on the bed muttered, Xie Qin, big sister? Could it be that you are Long Fei? Long Fei rolled his eyes as he looked at the girl, who was a little retarded on the bed. Other people would say that no one would come to save her even if she had a broken throat, but she actually kept on shouting, Break your throat, break your throat. However, hearing the woman say this, he immediately asked, You know my sister? The woman said, We did. We died on the same day. She kept on telling me that she had a very handsome younger brother. He was the best younger brother in the world. Long Fei's heart was ignited with hope. He immediately went forward and asked, Where is she? As long as he could find Xie Qin, he no longer had any misgivings. The woman muttered, You don't know? They were captured by the members of the Oxhead gang, and I was also captured at that time. As for where, I don't know. The Oxhead gang. King Yama. Long Fei's heart trembled, and thought to himself, Looks like you already knew my purpose for coming to the underworld. Hearing Long Fei's words, the sky spirit's face secretly changed. Mother! Finished. He didn't stop at all, directly becoming a beam of light and flying towards his mother's residence. Long Fei didn't even have the time to stop him. Thank you. Long Fei thanked the woman and untied the rope in her hand. Then he followed her out of the room and went to the toilet and asked, Where is the main rudder of the Oxhead gang? When the evil ghost heard Long Fei's voice, it huffed and puffed and said, Brat, you're dead. If you dare to provoke this daddy, I will. Long Fei picked up a big rock and blew it into the latrine. Bam! The evil spirit's buttocks were full of black maggots. Long Fei shouted, Are you telling me or not? Damn you! I say, is that not okay? The evil ghost wanted to die. It's in the biggest courtyard on the east side of the city. You can see it immediately. Long Fei asked coldly, and then, with a move of his right hand, the dragon salyer landed on his hand. With a slash of the blade, it shattered the latrine, and the evil ghost instantly fell into the latrine. It directly submerged his head and started to crazily shout inside, equals semi/floating life plus. Long Fei also turned into a ball of light and rushed to the east side of the city. At this moment, the woman walked over to the latrine and picked up a large stone from the ground and threw it down one by one. Call out. No one will be able to save you even if you scream until your throat breaks. The evil ghost shouted, Break your throat! Break your throat! Chapter 38_8419/2356801. Search the entire city. Search the entire city. As long as you find traces of that kid, come back and report. Understood. Understood. The Oxhead Gang's plaza was filled with thousands of evil spirits. Oxhead frowned and said, Whether or not you can become the deputy city lord is up to you. Before he could finish his words, boom, a ray of light descended, directly turning the main gate of the Oxhead Gang's courtyard into ruins. Who ate bear heart leopard? You dare to behave atrociously in the Oxhead Gang? I think he's tired of living. Several evil spirits clamored. Long Fei stood up and raised his eyes slightly. The dragon salyer on his shoulder flashed with a cold light, and the corners of his mouth drew back as he said with a smile, I only have one sentence. Scram! The entire courtyard was silent. They all stared at Long Fei with their eyes wide open. Half a second later, Little bastard, you actually dared to come here and act so atrociously. Scram back into your mother's stomach. Kill him. Why don't you take a look at this place? You must be tired of living. Lousy will let you die again. All the ferocious tigers pounced at Long Fei, each of them extremely ferocious. It was also at this time Oxhead's expression turned cold. Little bastard, you're finally here. Kill him. Kill him. Whoever can kill him will become the gang leader of the Oxhead gang. Oxhead immediately shouted in anger, "Let's see what kind of flowers you can produce." At first, there were only a few dozen disciples surrounding them, but this time, several thousand disciples surrounded them. It was also at this moment Long Fei's eyes were sinister as he sneered, "You have already lost your chance to live." The aura on his body stirred. Once the dragon's salure descended, it clenched tightly with its right hand. The power of the war god realm and the energy aura of the dragon's salure began to interweave, fusing together as one. Buzz! With a burst of aura, the dark blade aura on the dragon's salure shot up into the sky. He was enraged. The figure of the dark dragon god roared, and Long Fei rushed out. The dragon's salure in his hands shook, and his blade aura swept out like a raging wind. Berserk slash! Long Fei disappeared into the violent wind as the dragon's salure started to dance wildly. All the evil spirits in the yard were sucked into it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk a crazy critical strike. His blade technique was as fast as lightning. At this moment, the system beep exploded. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Oxhead Gang minions Luo for obtaining 100 experience points, 800 true chi, and 1 energy values. Ding! Congratulations player Long Fei for getting 100 experience points for killing Oxhead Gang minion Luo, 80 true chi, 1 energy values. The system beep was about to explode. However, it was not as much as the experience that Long Fei had gained in the past. The higher Long Fei's level was, the fewer monsters that would have less and less experience than him. Just like how it was in the game, the experience for you to kill level 1 monsters at level 50 was basically 0. In the past, Long Fei was only a War Master Ream, but now he was a War God Realm. They were completely two different people. Schwa! 10 seconds later, a gale began to descend. The entire courtyard was filled with broken limbs, heads, and fresh blood flew everywhere. It was as if Long Fei had scared a storm of blood as he stood in the center of the courtyard, allowing the fresh blood to flow freely. You are cruel? Your father is 100 times more brutal than you. You have more people. I will kill them all. At this moment, Oxhead's scalp went numb. He stared at Long Fei, who was in the courtyard, and said, You, madman, are completely a madman. Kill thousands of people in 10 seconds. What kind of concept was this? Too terrifying. Long Fei grinned and laughed sinisterly, saying coldly, I'll only say it once, whereas Xie Qin, think it through. Because you only have this one chance. Oxhead gulped down a mouthful of saliva. His entire body was trembling as he looked at the blood rain that was continuously pouring down from the sky, and looked at Long Fei's terrifying and gloomy eyes. He felt that he was in even more pain than death. His lips began to tremble as he said, Yes, 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 in the City Lord's mansion. Schwa! Long Fei's blood shadow moved, instantly landing behind Oxhead's body. A trace of blood appeared on Oxhead's neck. He wiped away the blood in his hands and said, I already told you, why did you? Before he could finish his words, its head rolled down from its neck and landed heavily on the ground. Its eyes widened as it stared at Long Fei. Long Fei swung his dragon's salure on top of his shoulder and said, I didn't say I won't kill you. And then Long Fei once again turned into a ball of light and rushed toward the direction of Yen Luo's palace. In another place, the location of the Celestial Mother, corpses were strewn across the field, and almost all the disciples of the Horseface Hall had died here. With two purple eyes staring at Horseface, she asked solemnly, "Where did my mother go?" Horseface continuously retreated as his face turned pale. No, I don't know. I don't know. Schwa. With a jolt, she raised Horseface into the air and said sinisterly, "I'll ask you one more time, where did you get my mother to go?" His mother was his reverse scale. The reason why he had transformed into a body of evil was also because of that hatred. Now that his mother had disappeared, he was extremely furious. Horseface was scared to the point of peeing his pants. He said, City Lord's mansion. She was captured and taken to the City Lord's mansion. Let me go. With a mournful scream, Horseface's entire body turned black. With a bang, his body cracked open and turned into ashes. The black eyes of the sky spirit stared at the City Lord's mansion and said solemnly, "King Yama, if you dare touch my mother, I will kill you." King Yama's estate. King Yama looked at Xie Qin and said, "Did you know that Long Fei came to save you?" Xie Qin looked at Yama. His expression tightened, and his body trembled slightly. King Yama laughed. "However, he cannot save you because he will die here as well." Xie Qin's body trembled even more violently as he said, "My lord, I am willing to stay in the underworld for my entire life and not reincarnate. If not, I beg you to spare my life." King Yenluo laughed. Not reincarnated? Ha ha ha. Under my control. Whoever can be reborn can be controlled by me. You? Humph, they don't even have the right. The reason why I'm telling you all of this is because I want you to properly watch how Long Fei is trampled under my feet. The person who tramples on Long family is the person that I like to sit on the most in my entire life. King Yama smiled with incomparable pride. At this moment, the sky suddenly darkened. After releasing the power of the sky sound wave, Long Fei roared angrily, "King Yenluo, get the hell out here right now." 360 search. Half floating / equals rumble. Rumble. The sound waves rumbled like thunder, crazily crushing the City Lord's mansion. King Yenluo smiled, faintly. He grabbed Xie Qin's neck with one hand and the Heavenly Spirit's mother with the other, and walked out as if she was a little chick. Chapter 48_8419/2356802. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A thunderous boom resounded in the entire Yama residence. Aside from the City Lord's residence, all of the buildings had been turned into ruins by Long Fei's sky sound wave. The heavenly sound wave of the war god realm was too powerful. The moment that King Yenluo rushed out, his underworld mansion also collapsed. It shattered and turned into ruins. King Yama was not angry. Instead, he laughed maniacally and said, "Little bastard, you came here to die. Look, is this the person you're looking for?" While they were talking, King Yama pushed Xie Qin out. Long Fei was startled. "Sis." Xie Qin's tears directly rolled down her face as she felt incomparable gratitude in her heart. If she could see Long Fei again, even if it meant her death 100 times more, she would still be willing. Xie Qin also shouted, "Long Fei, don't bother with me. Run quickly, don't worry about me." Not waiting for her to finish, the King of Hell stepped her down to the ground with one foot, pressing her firmly down. With a crazed smile on his face, he said, "You want to save her? Ha ha ha. I won't let you do as you wish." He exerted force with his feet. Blood gushed out from Xiaqin's head. Xiaqin became even more vicious and said, "Kill me! If you have the guts, then kill me right now." Long Fei was extremely anxious in his heart. "King Yama, you bastard!" Seeing Long Fei's angry look, King Yama laughed out loud and said, "Beg me, kneel down and beg me. I like it the most when people from Long family kneel down and beg me." "Did you see Long Quangtian begging? How nice to kneel, and how loud your kowtows are. You Long family people are even kneeling different from others." "Ha ha!" King Yanluo laughed maniacally. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, his nails digging into the meat of his palms, causing blood to drip down and his teeth to clench so hard that crackling sounds could be heard. Anger was burning and spewing out. The more furious Long Fei was, the happier King Yama became. "Long Fei, kneel down and beg me." "Ha ha ha! Long Quangtian has even knelt before, and you are also kneeling down to beg me. Ha ha ha!" King Yanluo laughed maniacally. Long Fei was infuriated. He was about to explode with anger. He roared in his heart, "I'll kneel to your 8 ancestors." At this moment, rumble! A purplish-black ray of light streaked past and heavily bombarded the body of the Yama King. Yama Minamiya's body trembled slightly as his face turned angry. "You dog, you're here too." While they were talking, King Yama grabbed his heavenly spirit's mother's head, lifted her head into the air, and started laughing maniacally. "You little beast, come at me. Let's see if it's you or me who is faster." Ha ha! King Yama laughed maniacally once again. He was extremely pleased with himself. A mass of purplish-black fog slowly wrapped the sky spirit. The sky spirit slowly walked out of the black fog. Its eyes were as ferocious as they could get, and as terrifying as they could possibly be. Even Long Fei was secretly shocked. The sky spirit said in a low voice, "King Yama, do you want to die?" He was enraged. He was incomparable rage. The heavenly spirit's mother said loudly, "Linger, don't worry about me. Kill him. Use your power to kill him. Quickly follow Long Fei out of the underworld." "Mother!" The sky spirit let out a shrill shriek. King Yama sneered at Tianling in the same tone. "You little be **starred. Do you want your mother to die? Long Fei, do you want your sister to die?" One on their hands, one on their feet. King Yama controlled them very well. He didn't even have the strength to commit suicide. Ha ha ha! King Yama laughed out loud. "I suddenly thought of an extremely interesting game. None of you want to see your loved ones die. Kill each other. The one who wins will be able to live. What do you think? It must be very interesting. Ha ha ha!" As soon as he finished, the heavenly spirit seemed to have no hesitation. Its gaze turned, and the purple-black flames in its hands started rolling as it charged straight at Xiang Longfei. "Heavenly spirit! Heavenly spirit!" Long Fei and his mother shouted at the same time. Bam! Heavenly spirit's fist struck Long Fei's chest like thunder. Long Fei instantly spat out a large mouthful of fresh blood. He did not try to defend at all. With a flick of her body, she flew into the air and said, "Fight!" Long Fei wiped off the blood from the corner of his mouth and said, "I never attack my own brothers." Boom! Without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, the sky spirit's attack fell once more, screaming in pain, "Fight back!" Rumble! Long Fei's body sank again. With him at the center, a radius of 1 kilometer turned into a huge crater, just like a meteor colliding. Long Fei continuously spat out blood, clenched his teeth, and said, "Right, brother, I will absolutely not attack." Like a fool. King Yama laughed crazily. Ha ha! The people of Long family are truly powerful. Heavenly spirit, since he is not going to make a move, Then kill him. As long as you kill him, you will be the victor. I will let your mother go. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, this feels great. Incomparable pride. Never would he have thought that Long Fei would actually not retaliate. King Yenluo laughed disdainfully in his heart. People from Long family are idiots. Ah! The heavenly spirit was enraged and said, "You are not retaliating, are you? Then I'll hit you until you fight back." Descending from the sky, under the crazy bombardment of fists and punches, Long Fei stood at his original spot without any form of defense and did not retaliate at all. Bang, bang, bang. Dust flew in all directions from the deep pit. King Yenluo grinned from ear to ear and said in a nearly sinister manner, "Did you see that? Do you see that? This is the trash of the Long family," and he was beaten into a pulp. Beat him ruthlessly for me. Long Quangtian, you never dreamed that your Long family would produce such a trash. Dust flew in all directions, filling the sky and shaking the entire ghost city. The sky spirit did not hold back at all. Suddenly, a figure flew out. It flew towards the laughing Yama King. King Yama gave a disdainful sneer and said, "Tisk, do you think I'm an idiot? Did you think I would be ambushed by you? Long Fei, you are too naive. Rumble." Yama Minamiya's left hand swept out and slapped down. Bo! Long Fei's figure turned into a wisp of white smoke and disappeared. At this moment, Long Fei's crazed and furious voice sounded out from behind him. "King Yama, I'll fuck your 18 generations of ancestors. Dark Dragon God, roar." The dragon spirit shadow atop the dragon salure roared and slashed downwards. When did Long Fei run behind him? It was also at this time. The sky spirit with blood dripping from both of its hands leapt out from the dust and roared at almost the same time as Long Fei, "Ghost veins burning heaven." Ah! One in front and one behind, pincer attack on both sides. His strength was incomparably strong. Floating life, table of contents, no windows, A++ at this moment. Yama Minamiya simply didn't have any choice. He could only give up on Sky Spirit's mother and Xiaqin. His body slightly moved. His gaze locked onto Long Fei and shouted solemnly, "I'll kill you first." Chapter 5, 8_8419/2356803. Long Fei, Holy Spirit. Long Fei, Holy Spirit. King Yama chose to attack Long Fei because Long Fei was a little more threatening. Because Long Fei is from the Long family. He hated the people of Long family to the bone. Therefore, he chose to kill Long Fei first. With a palm that covered the sky, he smashed it down towards Long Fei's head. At this moment, the corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, revealing a cold smile. King Yama's eyes turned cold. This is bad. Whoosh! In another place, another voice flew out from Long Fei's body. Long Fei, who was still lying on the ground, suddenly jumped out. The sky spirit gave up on attacking and caught the falling mother, then abruptly flew out. Boom! After slapping Long Fei down with a palm from the King of Hell, Long Fei's body instantly turned into a wisp of white smoke and disappeared. Clone. Yet another clone. King Yama was completely tricked. At this time, Long Fei's clone had already brought Xiaqin to a safe place. Whoosh! Long Fei took a step into the air. His entire body was dyed with blood. This was all an attack by the sky spirit. But if he did not do this, how could he play with the King of Hell? Little Kid Hades, are you enjoying yourself? Long Fei stood in midair. The dragon salure in his hands released a buzzing sound as it fought back. The dragon salure was also angry. King Yenluo was so angry that smoke rose from his head. You dare to play with this king? Long Fei, then go and die. Boom! A thunderous sound echoed out from the body of the Yama king, after which a beam of golden light shot out from his body as the judge, and the brush flew out horizontally, just like a golden sword. It pierced straight towards Xiang Longfei. The natal implement has appeared. The attack was very terrifying, one that even Long Quangtian could not withstand. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he roared, "This old man will see who dies first. 4th level, peerless. Open for me." Kacha! A loud sound exploded inside Long Fei's body. 16 times his elemental energy was unleashed. Moreover, at this moment, the Heart Sutra was activated. All over his body, the shadows of Kitagarbha became even more powerful. Not even that. Long Fei roared out, "Bedevilment!" Boom! His body was also half naked, but the aura of the heavenly demon emitted from his body was incomparably strong. The heavenly demon aura fused with the dark blade aura on the dragon salure. Roar! Dark dragon god let out a sinister cry, facing the golden sword judge. Long Fei didn't even try to defend himself. Instead, he took a step forward and said, "People from the Long family never retreat. The wrath of the dragon god." Boom! With a huge explosion, all the power in Long Fei's body trembled, and trembled crazily. He could barely control such a powerful force, and the instant he flew out, it hacked down towards the top of Yama King's head. At this moment, the judge's pen stabbed towards Xiang Longfei's back. King Yama became excited. "Die?" Whoosh! His eyes turned sinister as they landed on Long Fei's back. The thick purple-black flame in his hands blocked it, laughed coldly, and said, "Crazy enough, I like it. Ha ha." The Holy Spirit blocked the judge's pen. Long Fei also slashed down. Rumble! The blade aura was like the sky as the dragon spirit shadow in the sky transformed into a gigantic dragon salure and furiously slashed down. It struck on the head of the Yama King. Puchi, 17,338. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister, his heart filled with shock. The damage is too low. It was also at this moment. The amount of health that the King of Hell had above his head was 90 million HP, so 10,000 points of damage was completely negligible. "It's too low." The Yen Huang ancestor said slightly, "He has 2 natal implements. One was an attack judge, and the other was a defense of the Book of Life and Death. The defense of the Book of Life and Death is too strong." "You want to kill me? You're not qualified. Ha ha ha." The King of Hell's palm swept across. Long Fei's body moved. He flipped and dodged a move. Looking at the amount of blood on his head, his eyes turned sinister, and he laughed out loud in excitement. "Is it strong? The stronger I am, the more excited I will be. The stronger you are, the better it means. If you weren't strong enough, I wouldn't have bothered to kill you." This was the strongest boss in Long Fei's history. "King of Hell, explode him. I have to blow him up." Long Fei's heart trembled with excitement. "Explode him, bring out his Book of Life and Death, the Judge Pen. This way, I will be in charge of the entire infernal realm, and I will be the King of Hell. 90 million HP, right? I'll do it." Long Fei took a step forward and landed in front of Yama Minamiya. With a flick of his palm, he said, "Secret skill, poison technique." King Yama sneered. "This poison? Destroy." With a shake of King Yama's power, the poison released by Long Fei was exterminated, and then his palm struck down. Long Fei did not dodge. Instead, he moved his idea. Soul, evil fire, burn. Another strand of power appeared on the dragon salure. Dark 3 essence chi. Fire! Whoosh! 3 streams of black flames rushed out of Long Fei's body and instantly merged with the dragon Salyer. At the same time, Yen Huang ancestor was shocked and said, "Brat, don't. God's bone taboo. Open up your strength for me." Ignoring the Yen Huang ancestor's obstruction, Long Fei released the power of spirit demon sovereign Yi Tianqiu's God's bone taboo, and at the same time fused with the power of the dragon Salyer. Yen Huang ancestor was completely dumbstruck. This was too crazy. Long Fei was completely a madman. The more powerful he met, the crazier he would become. Once the God's bone taboo was cultivated, there was no turning back. Moreover, it will turn you into a monster. The moment Long Fei released the power of the God's bone taboo, the taboo in his body began to change as well as his bones. However, the God's bone taboo that he was currently cultivating and did not even have a layer of energy, so it was not obvious. The dragon Salyer was trembling. The dragon spirit shadow was even more lifelike, like a real dragon. It was as if it was filled to the brim. Long Fei was not holding onto a blade, but a dark dragon god. The eyes of the king of hell turned sinister. His body began to tremble uncontrollably. "Little bastard, you actually absorbed all of their cultivation techniques. The expression on Yama Minamiya's face became somewhat ugly. However, in that instant, the golden light of the Book of Life and Death in the Yama King's body grew even brighter. Even if you fuse with the heavenly energy, it would still be useless. That's because in the underworld, I'm the heavens, and I'm the Imperial Lord." Long Fei laughed sinisterly and said, "You are the sky, right? Then I'll go against the heavens today and kill the heavens for you to see." He unleashed all of his power, and a single slash descended. Moreover, the moment the slash landed, Long Fei didn't have the slightest hesitation and slashed down once again. "This day, I'm set on it. 8_8419/2356805. It was a shocking scene, using all of his strength. One slash. Next slash. It landed heavily on the head of the Yama King. Greater than sign. Long Fei had fallen into a state of madness after his injuries had exploded. He was now a complete madman, a complete and utter lunatic. Long Quangtian's kneeling made him go crazy. Xie being stepped on made him go crazy. Right now, he only had one goal in his heart, and that was to overturn the King of Hell. The life and death of the natal implement in Yama Minamiya's body continued to flash with a golden light. The golden light enveloped his entire body, but Long Fei's damage did not decrease by much. King Yanluo was continuously being forced to retreat. He coughed out blood again and again, almost unable to withstand the power. Long Fei arrogantly roared, "Didn't you ask me to kneel down? Come on. Aren't you arrogant? Continue. Aren't you going to trample on our Long family members? Come on, King, if you have the guts." The saber slashed down. Dark Dragon God unleashed his strength time and time again. King Yama could only resist in pain. He did not have the strength to counterattack. This was because Long Fei's strength was just too intrepid, and the most crucial point was that the Judge Pen was tightly tied by the Sky Spirit. However, this was the underworld. He was the heavens and the chief sovereign. King Yama roared, growling in a deep voice, "Let me see how many true breath you have, and how long you can hold out for. Yama's 10,000 arts. Drink it." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Tens of millions of beams of light shot out from his body. These streams of light were all devoured by him. As these imps descended, They absorbed the energy of a ghost before quickly returning to King Yenluo's body. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, in just a few seconds, over 20 million HP was rapidly restored. It was full of blood. Ha ha ha. All the pain in his body had completely recovered. He stared at Long Fei ferociously and said, "How are you going to fight with me? What are you going to use to fight me?" Ha ha ha. The Long family is awesome. Brat, be a bit more powerful. Ha ha ha. This is the underworld, and I am the heavens. You will never be able to kill me. Abnormal. Too abnormal. King Yenluo's level may not be high, but the feeling Long Fei got was, at most, that of level 9 war god, but the natal implement was too strong. Now, with this recovery ability, he was simply an untouchable existence. How? 20 million points of damage recovered as soon as he said it was healed. He was absorbing the energy of other ghosts. How many ghosts were there in the South Horizon region's underworld? There were trillions of them. He could recover countless times. Just as King Yenluo had said, how long could Long Fei's true breath last? Long Fei frowned. No, this won't do. His attack also came to a halt. He had to think of a way to deal with the King of Hell's recovery ability. If he continued to fight like this, he would only exhaust himself to death. King Yama laughed complacently when he saw Long Fei stop. Ha ha. Little bastard, are you feeling good? Continue attacking. Do you want to kneel down and beg for forgiveness? Ha ha ha. King Yenluo was incomparably proud. No one could shake him here. He was invincible in the underworld. He commanded billions of ghosts, and these ghosts were his source of energy. As long as he was injured, he could absorb the power of these ghosts, even though he knew in his heart that doing so would violate the rules of the heavens, but he didn't have the time to care about that now. No matter how heavy the crime was, he still wanted Long Fei to die. Long Quangtian had humiliated him once. He would definitely not let the people of the Long family humiliate him a second time. Never. Methods. I need a way. Long Fei's mind was working frantically as the scene of you absorbing the ghost's energy continued to appear in his mind. How? How can I destroy it? Long Fei frowned. Yen Huang ancestor slightly said, "Aren't you good at one-wave rush?" Huh. Long Fei trembled and said, "Taking away 90 million blood in one go? This. Even if we can do it, but during this journey, the King of Hell will once again absorb energy to restore his health point. In just a few seconds, he had recovered 20 million health point. It was too fast, so fast that Long Fei could not withstand it. Yen Huang ancestor said, "Holy Spirit." Huh. Long Fei asked, "Can he stop King Yenluo's health point from recovering?" No way, but he can absorb those spirits that are brimming with energy. Yen Huang ancestor said, as long as he absorbed those ghost spirits, he would be unable to recover. As long as he could prevent King Yama from recovering his life, Long Fei had absolute confidence in killing him. Immediately, Long Fei bellowed, "Heavenly Spirit." The two powers bound the judge's pen and asked, "What?" Long Fei said, "Can you absorb those ghost spirits?" The man nodded, "Sure." It wasn't hard. It was just that he was a little confused at Long Fei's words. He did not have the system, and he could not see King Yama instantly recovering his health point, so he naturally did not understand. Long Fei said, "Later on, do your best to absorb all of those ghost spirits. You don't need to worry about other things." Oh. The two black hole eyes stared straight at Long Fei and asked, "What are you planning to do?" Long Fei grinned and laughed lightly, saying, "Do you know about one-wave rush?" The man shook his head. "I don't understand." Long Fei laughed. Then I'll let you know what one wave rush is today. And then, Long Fei's heart sank. Level 4 unparalleled. Open. Heart Sutra. Open. Dark Chi. Open. God's Bone Taboo. Open. The moment the four energies were activated, Long Fei's sky demon body trembled. The powerful energy was almost unbearable to his body and was extremely intense. It was as if enormous waves were crashing against the sky. Long Fei tightened his right hand. Dark Dragon God, release a bit of your power. Roar. Dark Dragon God roared. His body looked as if it were real and lifelike. The dragon's roar resounded as it soared into the air, forming the saber chi of the heavens. Long Fei's gaze locked onto the king of Yama, laughed sinisterly, and said, "Today, I'll let you know what one wave rush is." King Yama laughed disdainfully. "Humph, it's useless. In the underworld, I am the heavens. Who dares to go against me? You? It's simply not qualified. Is that so?" Long Fei sneered, and his body began to move. The space around him began to distort, as though it was being crushed by his strength. "Then I'll let you know what qualifications are today." Shwa. As soon as Long Fei moved, all the power in his body began to burn crazily. Fury filled his mind, and all of the techniques and powers Long Quangtian had released kept on appearing in his mind, trying to figure out and deduce what was going on at that instant. Long Fei's eyes opened. His idea was connected to the dark dragon god in the dragon salyer, and was his sister-in-law. Plus health, strongest upgrade system, dragon saber unity. Dark dragon god. Kill. Ah. Long Fei roared, and then slashed down. Chapter 18_8419/2356806. Long Quangtian had comprehended the skill of Dragon Blade Unity. Long Quangtian had comprehended the skill of Dragon Blade Unity. The blade descended. When the power was used, the sword chi formed by the Dark Dragon God was as sharp as it could destroy the heavens and earth. Rumble! The golden light emanating from the body of the Yama King started to tremble before turning dim. The life and death scroll was shaking. This power was simply too ferocious. At this moment, a long number immediately floated up above Yama King's head. Exclamation point. 10 million points of damage. Moreover, this wasn't even a critical hit. *T, big shot. Long Fei felt excited in his heart. After saying one line, Long Fei did not stop at all, even if it was just for 1,000th of a second. Devil snake eyes of destruction. Swish! A strand of the power of the petrification demon. I shot out and petrified the body of the enormous King Yama. At this moment, Long Fei roared out, "Magic chop!" Rumble! Another slash landed, and the skill did not stop. Rushing Thunder Palm. Boundless Blood Sea. Great Blood Refining Art. The skills continued to be released, and the attacks also continued to superimpose on each other. They did not stop for even half a second, nor did they give the King of Hell any chance to recover his energy. He slaughtered wildly. After releasing the abilities of the Sky Demon physique, Long Fei instantly changed to his usual appearance. Draw Dugujiu Dao. Kill. Mountain Hit Fist. MT Tai Strikes. Roar. Splitting Fist. Dragon Chop. It was a crazy heavy strike without any intention of stopping. After Long Fei finished unleashing all of his abilities, his mental energy, and the true chi also sank into an extremely exhausted state. The consumption of true chi was like a flood. It was too fast, too numerous, and with the activation of those skills, it was as if his body was drained of energy. However, this was still not enough. It was still not enough to kill the King of Hell. Long Fei continued to persevere. The amount of blood on the head of the king of hell was rapidly decreasing. It was also at this time the king of hell roared and burst out, "King of hell, all spells are for me to absorb." At this moment, Long Fei slightly stopped. Now, it all depended on the sky spirit. If he couldn't deal with the Yama's 10,000 arts, then he would absolutely not be able to kill the king of hell. The king of hell's recovery ability was simply too strong. King Yama was covered in blood and looked extremely miserable, as if he had been trampled by Long Fei. He was extremely angry and also extremely arrogant, as he said proudly, "Have you used up most of his true chi? Ha ha ha. My Hades can help me recover quickly, but what about you? Long Fei, do you still have any strength left? Are there any more true chi-s? Ha ha ha. I've said it before. I'm the heavens in the underworld. I'm everything. You want to defy the heavens. You are not qualified at all. Ha ha ha." King Yama was laughing maniacally. In the underworld, tens of millions of ghosts suddenly died and were absorbed by the ghost spirits released by the king of hell. The entire underworld was instantly thrown into chaos as well. It was chaotic beyond compare. However, King Yama didn't care at all. He stared at Long Fei and laughed sinisterly. "Ha ha, just watch as I recover. Drink it." With a twitch of his forehead, the king of hell madly started absorbing the energy. It was also at this time the ghost vein art had been cultivated to its peak by the heavens spirit. The dark purple flame covering the sky grinned and said, "I want to see how you'll absorb it." Ghost veining Sha, explode. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk hundreds of millions of black lights shot out from the purple-black flames. Just like the little imps that King Yama released, the black lights charged out and directly collided with the ghost spirits. Bam, bang, bang, bang. Those ghost spirits all exploded. All the ghost souls were blocked by the sky spirit. King Yama was instantly enraged. "Tianling, you bastard, you dare to stop my ghost. I will kill you." Ah! Since the ghost spirit could not enter his body, he could not recover. King Yama was only half alive now. He rushed towards the sky spirit like a madman. It was also at this time that Long Fei fell under the spell of the devil once more and roared in his heart, "Demonic Heart Sutra. True Chi. Recover." Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The true Chi was completely filled up in an instant. And Long Fei also jumped out to stand in front of the Yama King, asking with a grin, "There's no way to recover, right? Now it's my turn. If one time doesn't work, then do it again. 4th level, Peerless. Heart Sutra, Dark Triuan Chi, God's Bone Taboo, Strength, all of you activate. Can't kill you once. Then let's do it again." Long Fei's idea linked to the dark dragon god once again and roared deeply, "Give me a little more power. Dragon Saber Unity. Kill." Long Fei released Long Quangtian's skill again and slashed down. Rumble. It was a damage of almost 20 million points, but this time it was an absolute critical hit. Long Fei withdrew his dragon sallier and fiercely jumped down, stepping on the head of the king of hell's head and punching him in the face. "Fuck! Go crazy again!" Bam! With a single punch, the Yama King's teeth exploded. The second punch landed heavily. "Continue your King crazy. Aren't you God? Aren't you the chief sovereign? CKU. You're going to go crazy later." Boom, boom, boom. Kneeling Siechin's tears, and the kind of high and mighty Yama King, the despicable and sinister mouth, made Long Fei feel extremely displeased. Now he wanted to vent as much as he could. One punch after another. King Yenluo was completely stomped on. There was no room for a counterattack. However, this was not what he was most afraid of. What they were most afraid of was the power of the Book of Life and Death, and the judge pen disappearing crazily. This meant he had reached the end of his life. It was not that Long Fei wanted him dead, but it was another person, the person he was most afraid of in his life. Long Fei also realized this point. Yama Minamiya's defense was instantly reduced to the lowest point. He didn't care too much about it. He just kept firing and punching. As for other things, he did not care. As his HP continued to decrease, Long Fei's attack continued to increase. At this moment, imperceptibly, the golden light from the judge's brush and book of life and death slowly flew into the void, being sucked into the palm of a man in the sky. The man's body flashed with golden light. It wasn't the type of golden light that would appear in a boss, but rather a golden light that shone like a god. He was the person that King Yama feared the most. The idea moved and transmitted the information to Long Fei's mind, saying, "There's someone in the sky, and he is swiftly absorbing the power of the Book of Life and Death and the judge's note." What? F***CK 360 search. Half floating / equals stealing the boss with lousy. The Book of Life and Death. The judge pen belongs to this father. Do you want to steal it? Have you asked me? Long Fei cupped his fists and struck out heavily. Explode for me. Chapter 28_8419/235687. What was the most annoying thing to do in game? What was the most annoying thing to do in game? If someone came to snatch the boss that he had only a little bit of health left, that person would be too disgusting. Long Fei hated him to the core. But what's wrong with stealing his holy artifact? Before the boss was killed, the holy artifact would be robbed, causing Long Fei to be even more unhappy. Long Fei had originally wanted to abuse her a little more to vent the anger in her heart, but now he did not care about that, and threw a punch. "You want to steal my boss? You're too weak. Die." The Yama King, who only had a few hundred HP left, instantly died. Long Fei also answered in a split second, "Release your striking attribute." A melodious voice sounded. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Yama King for obtaining 1 experience point, true chi point, and energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining King of Hell's blood vein. You wish to fuse it? Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining 10,000 arts of the underworld. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Yama Minamiya's 10,000 arts. Do you wish to learn it? Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Juga Sword Fragment. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the Book of Life and Death. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Judgment. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Broken Hell's 18th floor. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Yama King for obtaining a special reward, level +2. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. The notification sound finished. When the world quieted down, Long Fei danced around as if he was a madman, all by himself. 5 words drifted from the sky. Great, 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 great. Long Fei was so happy that he was about to go up to the sky. I'm going to go up to the sky. I'm going to go up to the sky. Ha ha ha. What do you mean, berserk? That's berserk. Those berserk attacks from before were so weak that they made people so excited. Long Fei felt that all the cells in his body were exploding, all of them were excited, all of them were boiling. It's gone, it's gone. All of them exploded. King of Hell's blood vein, the dragon salure is yours. Long Fei moved, opening up the system to check. Without need for Long Fei's instructions, the King of Hell's blood vein had already been absorbed by the dragon Salyer. Yama's 10,000 arts. Cultivate. Long Fei did not hesitate, and immediately became excited. To be able to recover tens of millions of health point in an instant, this cultivation technique must be cultivated. Ding. Other than taking one's life to determine life and death, it could also increase one's lifespan. It had to be known that the cultivation of the War King S did not dare to reach the maximum lifespan of 200 years. How many people in the South Horizon region were able to reach the War King realm? A warrior's life was not too bad. A normal person's life was not much different from the people on Earth. With this life and death thread, Long Fei could do whatever he wanted. Too excited. It was just that. However, when Long Fei checked the attributes of the two-natal implement, he was immediately stunned. F***CK. Long Fei could not hold back the anger in his heart any longer and blurted out, "System F***CK, your grandpa. What do you mean by unable to use it? The items that I dropped can't be used. Your sister, what kind of plane is this?" Sick. At first, Long Fei thought that the time was up, but then he suddenly fell into the bottomless abyss. They were both unusable. The attributes were not displayed at all. Wasn't this a scam? Long Fei looked through it a few times, but it was the same. The system only showed that it was unusable. His idea was untouchable and uncontrollable. In that instant, Long Fei was enraged and said, "Ancestor, can you devour it? Eat it. Damn it, Lousy is furious." He had thought that he would be able to do as he pleased. Hong Tianjun can do whatever he wants to whoever he doesn't like. Could he escape the restrictions of the law of death? Large-scale hooks, kill. Sky sect, so what if Nantian sect? Large-scale hooks, kill. Strongest upgrade system. However, this was all just a dream. If he couldn't use it, how could he kill it? Yen Huang Ancestor's idea moved slightly and said, "It's useless. These two things have become trash, and their powers have been completely absorbed. He's already a piece of trash." Chapter 38_8419/23568808. Did the Book of Life and Death turn the Judge Pen into trash? Did the Book of Life and Death turn the Judge Pen into trash? To Long Fei, this was like a bolt out of the blue. He couldn't accept it. Yen Huang Ancestor continued, "It doesn't matter if I swallow it or not." What? Long Fei's eyes darkened. He immediately thought about the golden light that the Book of Life and Death and Judge's Brush had just released. His heart shivered and asked, "Are you saying that their power is the golden light?" It was absorbed. Yen Huang Ancestor nodded and said, "Yes." Long Fei was speechless. He couldn't be bothered to look at the last item, the 18th level of the Infernal Realm, because it would be as unusable as the Book of Life and Death. Long Fei raised his eyes, stared at the man who was floating in the air, and said, "You want to fight with me? No one has ever taken away something that belongs to me. Long Fei." Just as Long Fei was about to take a step back, the heavenly spirit spat out a mouthful of blood and said, "I can't take it anymore. How are you?" The sky spirit's face was deathly pale. The baleful Yin force on his body weakened rapidly, unable to withstand the golden light descending from the sky. He was very unhappy. However, he had to admit that he couldn't withstand the golden light in the sky. Long Fei's brows tightened, and his face filled with shock. Even Yama King was unable to force the heavenly spirit to such an extent. Just what kind of power and cultivation level did the man in the sky possess? Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, as the man's voice faded, "Kneel!" Boom! With a loud bang, the celestial spirit's body was smashed down. The entire ground was filled with a powerful shockwave, causing the entire underworld to tremble. The sky spirit was crushed to the ground, bleeding profusely. Breathing heavily, it said in annoyance, "Kill me if you have the ability to do so. Come at me." The man coldly said, "You think I can't kill you?" The celestial spirit refused to give in and said, Come and kill me." "Humph." The man snorted, his gaze turned and landed on Long Fei, and said, "Hand over the book of life and death, as well as the judge's pen." Long Fei was furious when he saw his heavenly spirit being crushed to such a state. He shouted angrily, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" At this moment, he is a divine body, an existence that you are truly unable to shake right now. Your only way now is to escape the underworld, and he will have no way to deal with you. Patriarch, I want to explode him. I want to explode the power from the book of life and death and the judge's brush. Do you have a way? Long Fei was completely crazy. The more he saw the immovable boss, the more he wanted to kill him. The Yen Huang ancestor said, "Not to mention you, even I can't do it. This kind of divine body is unshakable. Hurry up and run." There's no way at all. Power of petrification, plus 100 Tao dragon slashes. Is that possible? Long Fei did not give up. Yen Huang ancestor said, "Run." "All right, although you said so, but..." The moment Long Fei finished speaking, all of the power in his body exploded out. He leapt up and roared, "How do you know it won't work if you don't try?" The dragon Salyer moved. The illusory image of the dark dragon god roared out. The saber slashed down. At this moment, the man raised his eyes slightly as a golden light flashed across them. Shua! All of Long Fei's strength and attacks were instantly crushed to nothing. This was not a difference. There was a distance to measure the difference, and this was a distance that couldn't be measured. Therefore, this wasn't a difference. F***CK. Long Fei shouted loudly. Without thinking about anything else, he turned around and landed beside Tianling, picked him up, and rushed towards the exit of Ghost City. He didn't want to say anything. He didn't want to think about it. He felt like a moth. The man in the sky was not a flame, but the sun. If he continued to fight, it wouldn't just be seeking death, but he would be making life difficult for himself. Divine body, this is too damn tough, isn't it? Long Fei was overwhelmed with shock. He thought that he could at least cause a little bit of damage, but if he couldn't even hit her, he would have completely given up. If the King of Hell was one, then this man was most likely a level 10,000 boss. Right now, Long Fei only had one goal, to escape the underworld. Now that he had done what he needed to do, his level had risen, Xie was saved, Yama Minamiya was also killed, and he had even seen the ancestors of the Long family, so he knew some secrets about the Long family. As long as he was able to charge out of the underworld this time, then he would earn a lot. The heavenly spirit said, "Why did you run? Won't you fight with him? Fight your head. You've already been crushed into a dog, and you still want to fight? Right now, escaping is more important." Long Fei rushed out as the idea connected with another clone. They all rushed towards the Ghost City's exit. It was also at this time, Man with Golden Light said slightly, "You won't be able to escape." Heavenly God Force. Cage. The center of Man with Golden Light's brows shook, and a burst of golden light burst out, turning the entire Ghost City into an incomparably large cage. Boom, 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 boom. The four gates slammed shut, golden light enveloping them. After doing all of this, the Man with Golden Light descended and stuck to the ground as he flew, saying faintly, "Long Fei, the laws of the underworld cannot be broken. You broke the rules by barging into the underworld. To disrupt the order of the underworld, to break the 18 levels of hell, to kill Oxhead and Horseface, King Yama of Hell, this has already violated the rules of the heavens." Boom, boom, bang. With a loud sound, Long Fei was directly ejected out. Uffed! Long Fei spat out a mouthful of blood. His eyes turned sinister, and once again rushed forward. Man with golden light slightly said, "It's useless. A mortal fist like yours broke through this shackle, and now I order you to hand over the book of life and death, as well as the judge's pen. Then come with me to be punished. I will punish your ancestors." Long Fei roared, and the dragon's sallier slashed down. Rumble! Long Fei's palm split open, blood flowing out like a fountain. He then spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out. Unhappy! Again. Long Fei rushed forward again. The heavenly spirit looked at Long Fei in pain, raised its head, and looked at man with golden light, saying, "I'll go back with you to receive my punishment. He is a human. He should return to the world he resides in." Xie immediately knelt on the ground and said, "I won't follow him. I beg you, please let him go." The golden ripples of light produced by the sound of the city walls were too powerful. Just by standing there, the sky spirit could feel that the power was unshakable. No one could break it. Long Fei said, "Tianling, I promised your mother that I would take you out. I, Long Fei, will definitely do what I said." "Sis, I promised to save you, and I will do it." Long Fei glanced at the man with golden light and said, "What rule? Why can't I return the favor? All these were set by you. Why? What qualifications do you have to decide the life and death of people? What qualifications do you have to decide whether ghosts can return the young or not? Just because you're strong?" The man with golden light laughed. "That's right. It's because we are strong that we are able to draw up all the laws. If you are weak, you must stay within these laws." His voice was filled with contempt. Long Fei sneered, "You're strong, aren't you? If Long Fei is unable to break your cage today, then I, Long Fei, will be surnamed Long Fei." Long Fei's entire being entered into a berserk state. He just didn't like the way things were planned from such a high vantage point. Why? In his previous life, he didn't like it, so there was no way for him to change it. In this life, he had to control his own destiny. He had to do whatever he wanted. No matter who it was, regardless of God or law, they could never restrain him. The laws are strong. Then break the law with your fists. Rumble! Long Fei's fists were flung out. Again. He was sent flying again. The truth was that after an hour of repeating himself, Long Fei was still not convinced. Man with golden light's face was filled with contempt as he said, "You overestimate yourself. You think you, a mere mortal, can break the law? You are not qualified." At this moment, the heavenly spirit also walked up and said while looking at Long Fei, "From today onwards, you will be my boss. You will be crazy, and I will accompany you crazy." He was completely convinced by Long Fei. From the moment he had met Long Fei until now, he was now convinced. He must admire someone. The energy in Long Fei's body made him convinced. He had originally wanted to borrow Long Fei's hand to escape the underworld and do what he wanted. In fact, Long Fei had even planted a seal in his body. At that time, he had even wanted to kill him, had always been using Long Fei, but she treated him like her own brother. Now he was convinced. It was also at this time. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Yuling Guardian Warrior mission. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining task reward. 1 million experience, 80,000 true chi, 10,000 points. The fourth King Kong had returned. Yuling Guardian Warrior, body of evil, power of the Dost, non-human, non-demon, non-ghost, non-demon. Long Fei laughed excitedly. Ha ha! The moment the heavenly spirit was enraged, he released the power of the dose to its highest point. Break for me! It was also at this time. Xiaqin also walked over, and looking at the bloodied Long Fei, he chuckled and said, Silly brother, you are really stupid. What right do I have to make you do this? While they were talking, she also threw both fists at it, whether it would work or not. Long Fei said, Sis, you died for me, I must save you. The mother of the sky spirit also walked up and said, Silly child, you must leave this place alive. You are the savior of all the ghosts in the underworld. You must leave this place alive. He also threw a punch. At this moment, another woman rushed forward and said, You are our savior. You must get out alive. Next, dozens of people walked forward. Hundreds of people walked forward. Tens of thousands of ghosts walked forward. And all of the hundreds of millions of ghosts in Ghost City walked forward and shouted, You are our benefactor. You must leave this place alive. The brutality of King Yama, they had no power to resist. In an instant, they were dead and injured millions of times. They were ghosts, but ghosts didn't have any authority over them. Long Fei saved them. If Long Fei had not killed the King of Hell, they might have been sucked into the King of Hell's energy and died one day. Power of law, right? We'll break through him together. We are the weak, but we also have dignity. Everyone use your strength together to break through this law for our benefactor. Pull. The entire underworld was helping Long Fei. Long Fei was dumbstruck. He could not believe that hundreds of millions of ghosts were helping him. But at this time, Man with Golden Light's face was extremely ugly, as though he had been ruthlessly slapped in the face. Xiaobai rushed out, ice and fire rushing out. Even the Yen Huang ancestor released all of his power. Long Fei leaped high into the air, both fists exploding like a war hammer, and said, We'll let you know what qualifications are. What qualifications are? Rumble! 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 The golden light trembled, and cracks began to appear. The billions of ghosts became even more frenzied and powerful. Long Fei was sent flying. He once again rushed forward and roared, Break for me! Rumble! Crack! The light began to split apart, and the cracks continued to crack. Again, Long Fei roared. All the ghosts, Man with Golden Light's expression became even uglier. His body was also unceasingly releasing the power of Golden Light. He was not facing Long Fei. It was the power of the entire underworld. It was hard to imagine. A living person was enough to make all the ghosts in the underworld willing to help. It was also because of this power that broke through his strength. One more punch. Long Fei shouted loudly, and once again struck out with his fist. Rumble! Clang! As the golden halo faded away, the city gate was broken open. The numerous ghosts cheered in excitement. This was the first time in their history that they had ever resisted. The first time they had ever resisted against the laws. They had won. Sister-in-law, 1-/ plus health, strongest upgrade system Long Fei, was extremely grateful in his heart as he replied, Ice and fire. Heavenly spirit, Xiao, by sis, charge out together. Man with Golden Light was also enraged. Don't even think of escaping. Chapter 5. Thank you for your support. The sea is extremely grateful. Thank you, Big Yo-Yo, for your great firepower. Thank you, brothers, for your support. Thank you, 8_8419/2356810. The world of the living was governed by the laws of the world of the living. The world of the living was governed by the laws of the world of the living. The world of the dead was the same. A dead person was a dead person, and there was only one way for him to recover his yang energy. he would be reincarnated and turn back into a human. However, Long Fei broke through the rules of the living and entered the world of the dead. At the same time, he had brought the dead back to the world of the living, and that was breaking the law. It seemed as if nothing had happened, but the world of the dead and the laws of the world of the living had all formed a strong impact. Imperceptibly, the power of laws had become unbalanced. Sky Martial Continent, Abyss of Sin, Rumble, a gigantic and ancient seal that spanned millions of years began to crumble. An evil aura slowly floated out of the crevice. Finally, bang! With a loud noise, the entire seal burst apart. Whoosh! A figure escaped from the seal. Ha 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 ha! It's been 1,390,000 years. I finally escaped. Ha ha ha! I finally made it out. Ha ha ha! Just you wait. I want to turn the world upside down. In another place, Dark Domain, Tianxia Lake. A huge whirlpool appeared in the middle of the lake, and a gigantic seal array at the bottom of the lake also broke apart as a silver man slowly rose up from the middle of the lake. Ha ha ha! His wild laughter was like the wailing of ghosts. Breaking the law, it's a matter of life and death. Finally, someone has broken this damned law energy. Ha ha ha! Tianxia, was able to see the light of day. Once again, ha ha ha! Damned immortal domain. Damned dragon territory. 2 million years have passed. Are you all right? I'm back. I'm going to kill you all. Ha ha ha! Not just these two. At least 100 million years worth of seal were destroyed in the entire Sky Martial Continent, and those millions of years worth of monsters reappeared in the human world. This was all because the balance of the power of law had been destroyed. Immortal domain, the heavenly hall of immortals. 19 elders frowned anxiously as they paced back and forth in the hall. What should we do? What should we do? Those giant demons have all reappeared in the human world. This is a calamity for humanity. Supreme God still hasn't come out. This matter, I'm afraid. They were all powerful experts at the peak of immortal domain, and in the Sky Martial Continent, their strength was almost as high as the heavens. However, even such an expert like this was making them anxious, their eyes filled with fear. They were also afraid. Kacha, a stone door above Hall of Immortals opened, and a white Grandmaster walked out. Greetings, Supreme God. The 19 elders kneeled on the ground together. Regardless of whether he is human, demon, or demon, as long as he wants to enter God Emperor Academy, he can participate in the assessment. Supreme God, can even demons do it? This is against the school's rules. That's right, the students of the God Emperor Academy are all devoted to immortality. Can the devils cultivate it? Furthermore, if the demons were to enter the God Emperor Academy, the consequences would be, it's not easy for us to manage it either. This decision broke the historical routine, and they were somewhat unable to accept it. The Supreme God said slightly, "We have to do something extraordinary under extreme circumstances. Since we do not know who the demon slayer is and who can stop this calamity, we can only follow the will of the heavens and let the heavens decide. Be it humans, demons, or demons, they are all members of the Tianwu continent. They all have the right and the responsibility to protect this continent. As long as we guide them with good intentions, I believe that they will definitely be able to get along peacefully. One of them is the demon slayer we're looking for. It was the only way he could think of. Whether it was useful or not, he still had to give it a try. This was the only thing they could do right now. As for the consequences, then let the heavens decide. Once all demons appeared, the world would be thrown into chaos. just because Long Fei had destroyed the balance of the ancient code. Long Fei was completely unaware of this. If he knew this would happen, he would still do it. He would still do it. He would even laugh foolishly. Wow. Floating life. Table of contents. No windows. A++, because the Tianwu continent had many more level boss that they could kill. This was what was so great about them. Add brilliance to this world. Ha ha ha. A strong light shot out. Long Fei became excited. Welcome back to the human world. Chapter 28_8419/2356812. He immediately became excited and thought to himself, it's about time to return to the Long family. Jojo's playful and shy appearance kept on lingering in his mind. Every time he thought of Long Fei, he would laugh in his heart. Jojo was the only person who treated him well when he came to this world. Ha ha! Little girl, I missed you. Long Fei smiled slightly in his heart. At this moment, a few of the Devil Sect disciples suddenly surrounded Long Fei and the heavenly spirit. Who is it? He dares to wander around the Scarlet Demon City? He obviously isn't a good person. Capture him first, then hand him to Lord Crimson Soul. Long Fei frowned. His expression recovered, and he muttered, Lord Red Soul. Isn't this Sea Demon City? How did it become Red Soul City? Last time, he clearly killed that Scarlet Soul old man. Why is there another one? The sky spirit leaned to the side, expressionless. His heart was still incomparably sorrowful. Looking at where his mother was going to die, it was as if his heart was being torn apart. He coldly said, You'd better open up a little death for me. Ha ha! Brat, your tone is quite arrogant. You dare to act so arrogantly in front of me? I think you're not waiting for him to finish. Shwa, a streak of purple-black flames streaked across. The 6 surrounding demon disciples immediately turned into black charcoal, then burst apart, transforming into a pile of ashes. You're courting death. Long Fei wanted him to leave a live one for her, but before she could say anything, it was all gone. Long Fei sighed and said, Your movements are too fast. The celestial spirit looked at him and said, They deserve to die. He still resented Long Fei a little in his heart, but he knew that if Long Fei didn't bring him along, his mother would still die, and he would also die somewhere else. He was incomparably moved by Long Fei's kneeling on the 9 secret underworld finches. Even if he couldn't get through, he couldn't say for sure. It might take some time to cure him. Long Fei replied, I'm making a trip to Sea Demon City. Perfect. The steel mixture need to increase the amount of refining. There is only a year left until the agreed time. Hong Tianjun, I'm here. Long Fei's heart sank. Long Fei did not know that the underworld's time was different from the real world's. And then he turned into a ball of light and flew into Sea Demon City. At this moment, the sky spirit also followed him. Boom, boom. 2 rays of light fell on the square of the Demon Imperial Palace. This place was completely different from when Long Fei had left. Crimson Soul Demonic Chi. What's going on? Long Fei's heart tightened. At this time, the guards surrounding the square rushed up. Who dares to behave so atrociously in the Scarlet Soul Imperial Palace? Long Fei was about to speak. However, in the next second, these guards were reduced to ashes, as if they had been burnt into charcoal. Long Fei had a bad premonition. Long Fei had a bad premonition. Venerable Red Soul was no longer arrogant. His face was pale, and his lips started trembling. In the past, we were called Demon Sea City. Our Red Soul race sent me here, and then we became Demon Scarlet City. When did this happen? Long Fei was furious. Venerable Red Soul immediately said, half a year ago. Bullshit. Half a year ago, I was still here. Where did this guy come from? Long Fei's voice became even colder. Venerable Red Soul cried, I really didn't lie to you. I really didn't lie to you. It's been almost 2 years since this place was abandoned, and we only dared to come when the 8 great demon sects were destroyed and the South Horizon region was in chaos. We definitely didn't lie to you. Long Fei asked, the 8 great demon sects have been annihilated. Venerable Red Soul immediately spoke out. The 8 great demon sects were annihilated by a fellow called Long Fei. He also disappeared for over a year, and the only thing left in the 8 great demon sects that was not under the control of the sect was the Evil Sound Peak. The rest of the places were under the control of the sect, with the big sects like Nantion sect under their control. Everything I say is true. More than a year. I disappeared for over a year. Long Fei's heart trembled. He only stayed in the underworld for more than 10 days. How did he disappear for more than a year? I disappeared for more than a year. The 8 great demon sects only have one Evil Sound Peak. What happened? Yen Huang Ancestor said, dead people have their own time system. Living people have their own time system. That is to say, 1 day in the underworld, a month in the real world. Long Fei became more and more worried. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes opened wide. His heart suddenly filled with worry, and he asked, have you guys seen the day of wedding ceremony? Venerable Red Soul said, not yet. There's only half a month until it's time. That day is also the day of all the sex competitions in the South Horizon region. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. If I'm half a day late. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly and became a little afraid. Half a month, and time comes in a rush. And then Long Fei asked, what is the situation with the Evil Sound Peak? Venerable Red Soul continued, the Evil Sound Peak has always been standing guard, but as far as I know, in order to obtain the Evil Sound Sect's wedding as a gift, many experts have already rushed to the Evil Sound Sect. Those 2 people probably won't be able to hold on. Huff! Long Fei let out a breath, turned and shouted, collect all the strong demonic spirit grass from the Scarlet Soul Demon City within 1 day. Remember, you only have 1 chance. These spirit grass must be collected. If he wanted to refine a large amount of steel mixture, he would not be able to use them, but Li Yuanba and the others could definitely use them. Venerable Red Soul crawled up from the ground, not daring to disobey, because the power that exploded out from Long Fei's body was simply too terrifying. Venerable Red Soul quickly sent people to collect the spirit grass. Long Fei was waiting at the Imperial Palace Plaza, frowning slightly between his brows. I didn't think that so many things would happen after I left for so long. He had always thought that it would only take a dozen days, but the Heaven Sect's strength has already surpassed Nantion Sect's and has become the #1 sect in the entire South Horizon region. Long Fei said slightly, compared to 3 years ago, the speed at which the power of the Rushing Sky sect increased was too fast. If he wanted to trample Hong Tianjun to death, he had to be well prepared. This time, Long Fei absolutely could not lose again. A day passed quickly. Long Fei summoned his God's Devil Ancient Case and swallowed all of those fierce magic herbs into the myriad demon's blood pool for modification. And then Long Fei glanced at the Scarlet Soul Sovereign, then said slightly, "This matter has been handled well. Thank you, my lord, for your praise." Venerable Red Soul was incomparably humble and didn't even dare to straighten his body. Long Fei said, faintly, "You should be glad for your hard work. Otherwise," he did not continue. At this time, Long Fei faintly said, "Heavenly Spirit, let's go." Venerable Red Soul took a step forward, gathered up his courage. and asked, "Lord, I still don't know your name. Can you tell me your name?" He wanted to know, when did the South Horizon region produce such a powerhouse? And he didn't look more than 20. Longfei summoned his fire and ice and said faintly, "Longfei." Then, with a flap of its wings, the fire and ice wings disappeared into the clouds in the blink of an eye. Longfei. This name, Venerable Red Sowl's eyes shook. Didn't he disappear? Is he the one who exterminated the 8 great demon sects? It's the God's devil successor, the person who crushed the old man. It's only been a year, and yet his cultivation base. Beyond the War Emperor realm. Oh my God! Venerable Red Sowl's body shook, and he fell to the ground. In almost an instant, he made a decision. All of the Scarlet Soul clans leave the South Horizon region. They will never step foot into the South Horizon region again. At the entrance of the 10,000 Een Forbidden Land, Xia Yun rushed out of the forbidden grounds and said, "Brothers, are you going to let us resist together? Our cultivation is already not weak." During this year, the remaining hundreds of female disciples weren't threatened at all. They had been wholeheartedly cultivating, and in the 10,000 Een Forbidden Land, their cultivations were even faster. Right now, Xie Yun's cultivation had already reached War Emperor level 6. 1/3 of the other female disciples had already stepped into the War Emperor realm, and the rest were all in the high level of the War Master. I have to thank Li Yuanba and Arhut for this whole year of time. If it wasn't for the 2 of them protecting me unwaveringly, I'm afraid they would have already left this world. Li Yuanba's entire body was covered with scars. He laughed. "Sister Xie Yun, you guys can cultivate in peace. We will definitely not let these beasts take a step into the 10,000 Een Forbidden Grounds, and even more so, will not let them hurt you. The boss is gone. It is up to us to protect you." Arhut also said, lightly, Longfei was not here, so they had been defending this place the entire time. Moreover, how many miles had Longfei disappeared during the first year? Everyone believed that Longfei had died, but they had always firmly believed that he would definitely return and live. Ha ha ha. Can you protect it? This is the last bit of the Evil Sound Peak. As long as we break through this place, I want to see how you will protect the Evil Sound Sect. I heard that the female disciples of the Evil Sound Sect are all extremely spirited, able to make people want to die. I will definitely try it later. Ha! Brothers, this is the only valley in Evil Sound Sect. If we capture it, we will have our young master's wedding in 13 days. This is the best present we can give to the young master. Equals semi/floating life plus kill. In the distance, Guhan said slightly, "Should we make a move?" Wild Ghost was about to attack when he heard a cold voice from between his eyebrows. Someone is coming. Chapter 48_8419/2356814. Over the past year, the Celestial Sect rose to prominence. Over the past year, the Celestial Sect rose to prominence. At the same time, it was also crazily nibbling away at all the sects and clans of the South Horizon region. If you do not comply, the entire sect will be exterminated. Tuzong. The massacre of the 8 great demon sects by Longfei had made the Heaven sect even more fearless, and they frantically took over the locations of those sections. With the 8 demon sect, 4 devils occupied by the Heaven sect, the Evil Sound sect was determined to win. In order to seize the Evil Sound sect before Hong Tianjuan's wedding, there were even more mysterious experts who came this time. In this year and more, Li Yuanba and Arhut had gone through hundreds of battles, and their bodies were also covered with scars. However, the 2 of them had never regretted it, because from the day they followed Longfei, They knew that the road they were walking on was definitely not ordinary. Li Yuanba still carried the Xian Shin sarcophagus on his back as he turned to look at Xie Yun and said, "Sister Xie Yun, you go in first." Xie Yun looked at Li Yuanba as her heart was filled with doubts. What kind of people are they in the end? What exactly did Sect Master Long Fei teach them? Such a man, it's rare, but in the past, our evil sound sect never trusted men, but now we have been saved by them time and time again. Xie Yun looked at the firm expression in their eyes, and then at the densely packed crowd of people charging out of the valley. Her heart secretly tightened as she shouted in her heart, "Sect Master, where are you? Come back quickly." Li Yuanba grinned and laughed excitedly. "OL3, the final battle. Is there anything you want to say?" The King Kong exorcism wand in Arhut's hands shook, and the blood demon inscription on top of his head flashed with a bloody light. He laughed madly and said, "F***CK him to death." "Ha ha ha. That's exactly what I want." Li Yuanba clenched the lightning in his hands tightly. His gaze stared straight at the experts who came crushing down from the sky. His gaze tensed up, and he shouted, "F***CK him to death. Kill." Boom. Li Yuanba's body charged forward, transforming into a straight line as the angry thunderhammer in his hand rumbled down. Boom. With his brain ruptured, he was killed in an instant. The Arhut King Kong lowered its wand for a while, then started chanting. Holy Buddha's power from the depths of its body started to circulate, and the power of Demon Fighter burst out. The red light on his body trembled. Facing the people rushing towards the forbidden land of 10,000 yen, he roared heavily, "You want to go in? Unless you step over my body." Ah. Buzz, buzz. A Buddhist light rushed up from the Arhut's body, shining with golden light. A giant Buddha burst out with a powerful force, pushing back all those flying towards it by 100 meters. Several people were directly killed. Li Yuanba leaped high into the sky. Boom! With a loud bang, it landed in the middle of the crowd. With hundreds of people attacking from all sides, Li Yuanba grinned and laughed. The power in his arms moved. "God power!" Li Yuanba roared out. The veins on his entire body bulged, and the blood vein of the Titan god activated, linking it to the twin hammers. The thunder and lightning on the twin hammers were replaced with a dark and scary demon aura. Lei knew. Li Yuanba's twin hammers came crashing down. Blast! Rumble! 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 Boom! Boom! Countless bolts of lightning appeared on the ground, causing it to shake violently. The surrounding people were all shocked to the point that they were seeing stars. Li Yuanba took a step forward. "What the F***K? Bang, bang, bang." Twin hammers were arrogant. Each time, they would be one-hit kill. It was incomparably terrifying. He was a god of death. The dense crowd was once again pushed back by Li Yuanba and the Arhut, a bunch of trash. Suddenly, a cold voice came from the depths of the forest. Shua. His figure was like lightning, and a fierce wind was blowing towards him. Bam! With a palm hitting Li Yuanba's chest, one of the elders looked up and revealed a sneer of disdain. "Break!" Boom! A thick and dense power directly rushed into Li Yuanba's body, and like a meat grinder, it directly rushed out from his back. Puffed! Li Yuanba spat out a mouthful of blood, his face instantly becoming extremely pale as he staggered backwards. "Second brother!" Arhut's face sank, then he took a step forward. It was also at this time. "Humph! Your opponent is me." Shua! An afterimage descended and landed in front of the Arhut. A skinny old man stopped the Arhat's path and revealed a disdainful sneer. His 5 fingers moved, and he shouted, "I want to see how strong your body is." The shadow moved. His 5 fingers formed a claw and grabbed onto the blood-red rune on the Arhat's head. Let me suppress it. The power from his 5 fingers was like 5 bolts of lightning striking Arhat's mind. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The Arhat's legs were smashed into the ground, and it vomited out blood. The pain was unbearable. Absolute twin evils. A powerhouse at the peak of the 9th level of the War Emperor. This was a mysterious rancor from the Celestial Sect who dared to take down the Evil Sound Sect before Hong Tianjuan's wedding. Ha ha ha. The twin baleful chi is powerful indeed. Who can defend against a powerhouse at the peak of War Emperor level 9? Let's see how they can still act so arrogantly. The disciples in the forest all laughed out loud, complacently. This past year, he had been driven beyond his control by Li Yuanba and Arhat, and now he finally had a chance to vent his anger. "Big guy, let's see if you can still act so arrogantly. Ha ha ha. The time has come for those who go against their will to die, for those who go against their will to unite the South Horizon region, to unite the Heaven Sect. Third brother." Li Yuanba roared and smashed forward with his hammer. "You still want to resist? Humph! You overestimate yourself." The figure of an old man moved again. With a single step, he appeared in front of Li Yuanba, with both of his palms moving together. He shouted, "Get down!" Boom! Boom! With the sleigh in his palm, Li Yuanba's 3-meter-tall body was immediately sent flying. He crashed into a rock, and after the rock shattered, he spurted out a mouthful of blood. At this moment, Xie Yun did not care that much as he led all 400 female disciples to charge out. All of them are as beautiful as jade, and as beautiful as the celestial immortals. The rumors aren't false at all. Ha ha ha. I've been holding it in for a year. Today, I must have a good time. Ha ha ha. Seize all of them. At this moment, Xie Yun's sword moved and said, "Fight it out with them." Li Yuanba heavily smacked the ground, and then he stood up with his back turned. However, before he could make a move, he was knocked over with a palm strike, and a foot stepped on his head. "Little bastard, you have no right to resist in front of me." It was the same in the Arhat. He was knocked to the ground. The two of them looked at each other and laughed at the same time. They're going to die, but there was not the slightest hint of regret in their eyes. Li Yuanba roared, "Come, I will become a good man again in 18 years. Come, go to hell." The old man was infuriated as he sent a palm strike down. At this moment, the Xianshan sarcophagus on Li Yuanba's back suddenly trembled, the shaking becoming more and more intense, causing the entire valley to shake. Li Yuanba's eyes shook. "Boss." Chapter 5. Thank you for your support. 8_8419/2356815. In a year's time, the two of them had been battling and breaking through at the same time. In a year's time, the two of them had been battling and breaking through at the same time. However, if they were going to fight against a 6th-level War Emperor cultivator, a 5th-level warrior would be fine, but a 9th-level War Emperor cultivator was already above their limit. He couldn't bear it. In just a little more than a year's time, only the 8 Vajra possessed such strength. A monstrous existence. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The Xianshan sarcophagus was trembling intensely. The entire valley was shaking, and it could not even stand steadily. All the battles had stopped as well. "Elder, what happened?" "A major earthquake." "What's going on?" "He can't even stand." "Don't worry about it so much. Let me grab a little beauty to enjoy myself first." The Einfire and Einfire looked at each other. With a sinister look and a sinister killing intent, Elder Ein smashed his palm towards Li Yuanba's head and shouted, "It doesn't matter who comes, as long as they come, you will die." Li Yuanba was not afraid at all. He grinned and laughed excitedly. "You will die?" Arhut, too, laughed excitedly and laughed loudly. "He's here. Boss, you're finally back." "Ha ha ha." Xie Yun and the Evil Sound Sect female disciples looked around, but they did not see anything. Where did they see the sect leader's figure? Elderine glared at him. "You must be faking your death." The instant his palm landed, the Xianshan sarcophagus on Li Yuanba's back suddenly moved. With a swing, a huge sword flew out. A figure appeared. One fell, one took, one finger. The huge sword was pointed at the middle of Elder Yin's forehead. The tip of the sword had cut through the skin on his forehead. At this moment, if you have the guts, try it yourself. He was like the god of death. In that instant, the tremors in the valley stopped, the battle stopped. Everyone's eyes were fixated on the silhouette that just landed on the ground. Everyone's expression was twisting. The Evil Sound Sect female disciple's eyes revealed pleasant surprise, and was shocked as though she was boiling up all of a sudden. However, they were so excited that they couldn't say a word. The crowd gathered around the Sky Sect were all at a loss as they thought to themselves, "Who the hell is this guy? Isn't it too cool?" Only Li Yuanba and Arhut were laughing idiotically. Elder Ein didn't dare to move. A drop of blood flowed down his nose. He raised his eyes slightly and asked, You, who are you? Is it important?" Long Fei said coldly. At this moment, seeing the empty space behind Long Fei and the explosive power of War Emperor Level 9 in his body, Elder Ju roared out in his heart. "Ah!" Boom! His figure was like a ghost as he grabbed the back of Xiang Longfei's head and said, "Go and die." Long Fei did not move. Arhut laughed. "You're courting death." Li Yuanba also laughed. "I'm going to die." At the moment of lightning flash, Long Fei frowned. He suddenly grabbed onto the gigantic sword with his left hand, smiled, and said coldly, "I said you are not to move. Move a bit, I want your life." As soon as he finished, the great sword was split in half. His left hand moved. Shwa! An astonishing sword intent stabbed out. The elder suddenly stopped as a sharp glint of light flashed across his eyes. His pupils dilated before he finally glared at the elder. His body was no longer able to move. Crack! A head flew into the air. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing, Elder Ju for obtaining 120 experience, 100 true chi, and 100 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 102 spirit stones. F*CK. Long Fei shouted angrily, his heart feeling unwell. "Isn't this experience too little?" War Emperor Realm used to have 5 million experience points, but now that War Emperor Level 9 only has a little more than 1,000 experience points. What the heck is going on? His previous experience of killing millions of War Emperor Realmess was now only left with a little more than 1,000 points. Previously, he was only a War Elder, a War Master Ream, but now he was a Level 9 War God. In the past, killing monsters above one's cultivation realm meant that one had a lot of experience points. But now, he was simply slaughtering low-level monsters, so he naturally didn't have much experience. It's fine if he doesn't have any experience, but he didn't even explode. This is too darned. Long Fei could not help but retort. At this time, the head fell to the ground, blood spurting out. The entire valley had become completely silent, so quiet that it made their scalps go numb. War Emperor Level 9, 1 sword kill. Moreover, Long Fei did not even look at him before he swung his sword down. This was too damn strong. Too handsome, too cool. This bastard wasn't even human. Elder Yin's body trembled. He was afraid. From birth until now, this was the first time that he had been this scared. He said lightly, I was only following orders, please be magnanimous. Plop. Elder Yin knelt down. Unwell. This is too unbearable. The feeling of a sword pressed between my eyebrows is too unbearable. Li Yuanba crawled up from the ground, looked at Long Fei with extreme excitement, and said, "Boss." Our hood also walked up and said excitedly, "Boss." Xia Yun looked at Long Fei, also incomparably excited. Kneeling down on one knee, he said in a heavy voice, "Greetings, Sect Master. We pay our respects to the Grand Master." Over 400 female disciples shouted in unison. His voice was deafening. At this moment, the motley crowd finally reacted. "Master? Long Fei? Long Fei from the 7 Great Demons sect. Isn't he dead? Why would he appear here? That's impossible." At this time, Long Fei looked at Elder Yin coldly, and laughed coldly. "After hitting my brother, kneeling for a moment, is fine?" Li Yuanba's fist shook, and he said, "Boss, leave it to me." Long Fei retracted his huge sword, and said, "I'm giving it to you," he muttered in his heart. "Anyway, it's just 1,200 experience points. Right now, I need 1 billion experience points to level up. Sai, your baby is suffering." Li Yuanba kicked Elder Yin onto the ground and pounced forward like a hungry tiger pouncing on a sheep. He roared loudly, "Hit me! I'm asking you to hit me! I'm asking you to hit me! Hit me again! You want to kill me? Make your move now!" Because he had been completely crushed by the pressure released from Long Fei's body, to the point where he could not even release a single thread of true qi. This kind of crushing pressure was too unbearable, even more unbearable than death. Li Yuanba attacked crazily, his fists hitting flesh. "See this." The mob within the valley began to retreat. Many of them turned around to flee. Strongest upgrade system. Long Fei said coldly, "Did I let you leave?" They just wanted to leave and never want to see Long Fei again. Long Fei's eyes became cold, and he shouted out coldly, "Holy Spirit, kill them all!" A ball of black flame wrapped around the entire valley. Chapter 18_19/2356816. Just say that I, Long Fei, have returned, and it's that simple. Elder Yin's body continued to shrink back as he said, "Is that all?" Long Fei said, "That's it." "Oh, right. If he doesn't appear domineering enough, add another sentence. Just say it. I will smack the feces on his, but out of his mouth." Elder Yin frowned. Even though he was disdainful, he didn't dare to show it. Compared to Long Fei, he felt that Hong Tianjun, the young master, was at an even higher cultivation level. Seeing him in a daze, Long Fei's face turned cold, and said, "Still not leaving? Would you like to stay for lunch?" Elder Yin reacted, and used all of his strength to quickly escape. Li Yuanba said, "Boss, you're letting him go just like that?" Long Fei smiled slightly and said, "Don't worry, it's to let him live for a few more days. He will still die anyway." "All right. I now have a task for you all." There were still over 10 days left. Long Fei should start preparing now. He let Elder Yin go so that he wouldn't be disturbed for the rest of the time. When Clan Elder Yin returned to the Heaven Sect, they would definitely not send anyone to attack Evil Sound Sect anymore. They would definitely prepare for the competition in the sect, as well as Hong Tianjuan's marriage. Moreover, Long Fei did not want to sneak up to the Heaven Sect. He was going to steal the bride. To steal the bride, he had to rob them openly. What was the point of sneaking around? He wanted to hug Lu Luoshi in his arms in front of Hong Tianjun, just like this. returning to the evil sound palace. It was a mess, killing and looting. The evil sound sect was already in a state of disarray. When Long Fei looked at all of this, his heart was filled with rage. Xiang Tian sect, just you wait. The rage in his heart retracted. Long Fei said, "This past year, the sect has expanded too quickly, stealing my devil sect's territory. I want all of you to snatch back all of the 7 great demon sects' land within 10 days. Those who block us die. Regardless of whether or not we can take over the territory, the devil sect's territory is the devil sect's territory. No one should even think about getting their hands on it. This is a principle. Everything that was devoured by the Rising Sky sect, Long Fei had asked him to spit it out too," Li Yuanba said excitedly. "Leave this matter to me and OL3. They have been beaten up for a year. Now it's time to beat up someone else." Arhut said, "I have no problems." Xie Yun said, "Sect Master, what about us?" Long Fei looked at Xie Yun, who was already at the high level of the War Emperor, and said, "You guys?" Not waiting for him to finish, the female disciples behind Xie Yun all became anxious and said, "Sect Master, we can also help. We also want revenge." "That's right, Sect Leader, don't make us cultivate again. We've been holding it in for a year." "Exactly. Master." All of them were drop-dead gorgeous beauties. Looking at it made one feel incomparably comfortable. Long Fei thought for a bit, then laughed. First day of the new year, great sect competition in the southern domain, great marriage ceremony for Hong Tianjun. When the time comes, come with me and be my tug of war. To be able to bring so many beautiful girls with him. How cool was that? Xie Yun stared blankly for a moment before asking, "Sect Master, what do you mean by pulling a team?" Long Fei laughed. "Help me cheer. With your cheers, my fighting strength will increase by 500%. Ha ha! Right. One more thing." Long Fei asked in his heart, "Ancestor, how is it?" Yan Huang Ancestor said, "It's about time." Long Fei's palm moved, summoning the god's devil ancient case out. Xie Qin's body floated up from the ancient box. Long Fei hugged her, looked at her rosy red face, and said excitedly, "Sis, it's time to wake up. We're home." Xie Qin's long eyelashes blinked, and she slowly opened her eyes. The first thing that entered her vision was Long Fei, and at this moment, her tears flowed down as she sobbed like a child in Long Fei's embrace. "Woo-woo, do you know how dangerous it is? Do you know?" The small hand struck onto Long Fei's chest like a little woman acting coquettishly. Besides the Sky Spirit sect, everyone in the Great Hall sect was shocked. Xie Qin is alive. Sister-in-law, 1-/ plus health, strongest upgrade system. Xie Yun covered his mouth and forcefully held back his tears. How could it be possible for someone to be revived by Long Fei? At this moment, the affability level with Long Fei had already risen to 10,000 points. As long as Long Fei said it, all of them were willing to serve Long Fei. Everyone at once. Chapter 2. Thanks for your support. 8_8419/2356817 He disappeared for over a year, and now he has returned? Where has he been all this year? Hearing Elder Yin's report, the elders in the hall burst into an uproar. Long Fei had baptized the 8 great demon sects in blood. Long Fei was a well-known figure in the entire South Horizon region, rising like a comet, yet vanishing like a meteor. During this year, there were countless rumors about Long Fei. Some said that he was accepted by the God Emperor Academy. Some said that he died in the Blood Sea sect, and some said that he was killed by Nantian sect's experts. Most of the rumors said he was dead, but now he had suddenly appeared out of nowhere and was even suppressing a powerhouse of the 9th level of the War Emperor. Hong Wanta's brows secretly tightened and said solemnly, "Long Fei?" Great Elder Dongfang Hai said slightly, "Sect Master, isn't it just a Long Fei? Even if he were to break through the 9th level of the War Emperor and enter the War God's domain, what can he do?" "Just with Long Fei, he wants to overturn the heavens." Dongfang Jian's father, Dongfang Hai. Because of Dongfang Jian, Dongfang Hai especially hated him. These years, he continuously suppressed Long family. Moreover, as long as they were disciples of the Yuan Long dynasty, the Xiangtian sect would not accept them. Furthermore, he even spread the news that if the other sects dared to accept disciples of the Yuan Long dynasty, then they would be going against the Xiangtian sect. No matter how strong a clan was, they wouldn't be able to go against a sect. Killing a clan was far too easy. Xiao Feng said, "Sect Master, should we inform young master about this? After all, this is for the young lord." All the elders looked at Hong Wantu. Hong Wantu shook his head. "Jewar is currently in an important period of closed-door cultivation, so we absolutely cannot be disturbed. Furthermore, that expert also doesn't want us to disturb them. I can't tell Jewar about this." He couldn't distract his son. He really did not put a single Long Fei in his eyes. His son was even less of a threat. Currently, he could be said to be the leader of the South Horizon region. In the South Horizon region, the Heaven sect was the sky, and no one could hope to overturn the heavens. I was worried. Now, Hong Wantu wasn't worried at all. Because God Emperor Academy, Hong Wantu said slightly, "How can a mere Long Fei overturn the heavens? Does he think we are ants? Humph. As long as he dares to come, I will make him lose his life." His body suddenly exploded with the aura of a war god's peak realm. The entire palace was in an uproar. Hong Wantu absolutely would not allow anyone to destroy the Heaven sect, and even more so, would not allow anyone to harm his son. His son was currently the strongest in the South Horizon region, and would be the strongest in the immortal domain in the future. He was the strongest in the Sky Martial Continent, and might even become a demon slayer. He firmly believed in this. Hong Tianjun was in closed-door cultivation. Lu Luoshi was also in closed-door cultivation. After Xiao Tiantian received the news that he was back, he was no longer able to cultivate in peace. He had been guarding the entrance of Lu Luoshi's secret room, as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. Yi Zian was the same. Xiao Tiantian's eyes revealed excitement. "Coming, coming! Long Fei is coming." 2 years passed. Xiao Tiantian was even more adorable than before, but the most important thing was that she had been raised by a lot. Yi Zian was also incomparably excited. The 3-year agreement is about to arrive. Xiao Tiantian grabbed onto Yi Zian's hand. "Second senior sister, seize the marriage, the woman who is the #1 genius of the South Horizon region. Just thinking about it makes my blood boil. If someone can do this for me, don't mention marrying him. I won't hesitate to die for him." Xiao Tiantian's face was filled with fantasies. She was too excited. Thinking about the scene of Long Fei falling from the sky, she couldn't help but become excited. Yi Zian teased, "Junior sister apprentice, it's spring again. When Long Fei comes, let him snatch you too. He he. Second senior sister, I want to as well. Xiao Tiantian muttered. I don't know if Long Fei, that scoundrel, will still remember me. Yi Zian smiled and said, I might not remember it in the past, but… She grabbed onto Xiao Tiantian's chest and rubbed hard, then exclaimed, Wow, even though it's bigger, looking at that big chest, Long Fei still needs to remember it. Xiao Tiantian's face was flushed red, her breasts straightened. Although she had nurtured them well over the past 2 years, she was still weaker than Yi Zian. Equals semi/floating life plus. Suddenly, the stone door to the secret room opened. A white-clothed female that seemed as if she was an otherworldly fairy walked out. Chapter 3, Table of Contents, 8_8419/2356818. Yuan Long Dynasty, the Imperial City Fire Glass City. Yuan Long Dynasty, the Imperial City Fire Glass City. The building was grand and imposing. Compared to 3 years ago, the Fire Glass City was a full 2 times larger and was divided into 4 main districts: Azure Dragon District, Martial Arts Training District, White Tiger District, Alchemy District, Inscription Area, Refining District, Vermilion Bird District, Business District, the location of each of the major trading unions, and the shops, the Imperial Palace of the Xianwu District. Every region had their own responsibilities. For the past 3 years, none of the sects in the South Horizon region would accept any Yuan Long Dynasty disciple, and they would suppress the Long family to the maximum extent possible. From the very beginning, those talented young masters and the various families and powers in other places had resisted the Long family, because it was Long family that prevented their disciples from entering the orthodox sects to cultivate, so that the disciples would not be able to unleash their potential. But now, no one wanted to join any more orthodox sections. They were all absorbed by the Long family, and under the Long family's specialized training, these disciples all received a huge boost, becoming even stronger than the orthodox sections. Long family did not lower his head under the suppression of the numerous sections. Instead, he became even more powerful. This was something that none of the sects had expected. The current Yuan Long dynasty was not the slightest bit weaker than any sect, and was on par with the forces of a first-rate sect. At the city gate, Long Fei stood at the city gate and looked at the imposing city gate, exclaiming excitedly, I'm back. The surrounding pedestrians were shocked by him. Many people sneered in disdain, Earth leopard. He must have been scared by the majesty and domineering aura of the Fire Glass City. Fire Glass City is currently the #1 city in the entire South Horizon region. He has the strongest population, area of influence, and even the entire martial arts training. The current Fire Glass City is different from the past. I heard that the Fire Glass City is going to fight against the #1 sect of the South Horizon region, the Heaven Sect. I don't know if that's true or false. The crowd burst into discussion. As Long Fei walked into the city, he became even more excited as he looked at the unfamiliar surroundings. I never thought that the Fire Glass City would become so strong in just 3 years. Uncle is really an expert in governing the country. If it was in his hands, it would definitely not be like this. Suddenly, a voice came out from the crowd. Everyone go quickly and take a look. General Meng Yu is once again selecting his elite warrior. As long as you can last 10 moves from him, you can all join the Long family army. The Long family army, that's the strongest army in the Yuan Long dynasty. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and go. To where? Going to participate in the examination? General Meng Yu is already a war emperor realm, and you still want to take 10 more moves? Stop dreaming. Damn, did I say to take the examination? I mean, hurry up and watch the show. Just say it earlier and bring me along. A large group of people rushed to the training grounds in the Azure Dragon District. Mengyu? Big Brother Meng. The image of the valiant, battle-like, steel-like man never before appeared in Long Fei's mind. The corners of his mouth, slightly curled. Go take a look. Azure Dragon District. The 2 rows of Long family soldiers were majestic and extremely valiant. It was as if they were made of steel, standing still and motionless. A thick aura of battle was being emitted from their bodies. In the past 3 years, although there hadn't been a great war, however, they fought against the demon beast in the Fire Glass Mountain Range, fought fiercely, and trained the demon beast to be valiant. All the warriors in the entire Yuan Long dynasty were proud to have joined the Long family's army. It would be an incomparably glorious thing for anyone to produce a warrior. Come on, if you want to join my Long family army, then you must show off your unafraid aura. The road of the martial arts training is like a river crossing where there is no retreat, just like our Yuan Long dynasty's ancestors said. For the people of the Long family, the army of the Long family will never retreat. Never retreat. Today, all you have to do is take 10 moves from my hands, and you will be a member of the Long family army. In the center of the plaza, Mengyu was dressed in black armor and held onto a steel spear. I'll do it, one of the youths in the crowd shouted, and flew up with a step, landing in front of Mengyu. All right, Mengyu shouted loudly, War Elder level 5. I will suppress my cultivation to War Elder level 5. Please. Lu Yuan took a step forward, and the chi on his body was like the roar of a tiger pouncing over. Both of his hands moved, forming the shape of a tiger, as he charged towards Mengyu. Mengyu retreated slightly and took it in one move. Bam! Bam! The 2 of them exchanged fists. On the 9th move, Mengyu's hand shook as he shouted out, Steps like a tiger, fists like a tiger, but your figure does not reach the might of a fierce tiger. So, the fist turned into a palm as it landed on the man's fists. Boom! The power of the 5th level of War Elder rushed out and forced 6 Abyss back. Lu Qinyuan's face was pale, and the chi beneath his chest was surging. He stood on the spot with both his hands folded and said, Thank you, General Meng, for your advice. I will come back next month. Mengyu smiled faintly and said, Who else wants to come? Me. They all jumped out once a month. They had been waiting for an entire month just to break through. Every time he defeated his opponent, Mengyu would raise a point or 2, allowing them to more clearly understand their own cultivation direction. 2 hours later, only 8 disciples had passed the examination, and these 8 people were still the disciples that had participated in the examination for 3 months in a row. Too powerful. He's not a match at all. General Mengyu is mighty. Ha ha ha. General Mengyu has experienced many life and death battles, so no matter how many life and death situations he fights, he will leave no room for any of them. If it is a death match, then his moves will all have no chance of survival. The square was filled with discussions. Mengyu slightly shouted, Is there anyone else who dares to challenge me? His voice swept across the entire hall. Since 8 people were able to pass the examination today, Mengyu's mood was extremely good. At this moment, a voice from the crowd called out, Me! Everyone looked over. Who is this person? I've never seen it before. He doesn't have any aura of cultivation. Is he a farmer from the countryside? Kid, don't look for trouble. That's right, don't waste General Meng's time. If you step forward, you will be knocked flying. The voice continued. 2nd level of the War Emperor, take out all of your cultivation. If you can take 10 moves, I will give you a special reward. His tone was calm, without even the slightest hint of arrogance. However, this was completely different for the people around them. What an arrogant tone. How arrogant! Who do you think you are? General Meng, kill him. Meng Yu frowned, feeling that the voice was familiar, not giving him the time to think. His cultivation level of War Emperor level 2 pressed down. In that instant, Meng Yu instantly entered battle mode. The steel spear moved and pierced through the sky. At this moment, Long Fei's arm shook, and he bellowed out, "Supreme Force!" Chapter 48_8419/2356819. Buzz! Buzz! A burst of force came out of his arm, causing the steel spear in Meng Yu's hands to buzz explosively, and he almost flew out of his hands. Meng Yu's face sank. Just now, he had only raised his cultivation to War Master Ream. Now he was even more powerful. The energy of a level 2 War Emperor was completely released. The killing intent on his body burned. Again. Boom. The steel spear came out again. Like a dragon, spear shadows filled the sky, sealing off Long Fei's attack. Suddenly, Long Fei was not afraid at all as he struck out with his palm, directly grabbing the steel spear that was in the illusion. What does he want to do? Aren't you afraid of death? Buzz. With the spear images all disappearing, Long Fei's cultivation of War Emperor level 2 exploded. Using force, he directly snatched the steel spear from Meng Yu's hands. Young Sparrow Hawk turned around. Long Fei's body dropped. The moment his body landed on the ground, he abruptly pushed himself up with his back feet. Whoosh! It burst out. Spear dauntless. One shot, flash of lightning. I just want to catch them off guard. Long Fei's voice came out. The moment the steel spear pierced towards Meng Yu, his figure suddenly changed and landed somewhere else. Meng Yu was unable to react in time. By the time he reacted, the tip of the spear had already reached a third of his throat. Spear. Stab the broken chrysanthemum. Don't let the chrysanthemum burst. Don't let it go. Long Fei withdrew his spear shadows, and his body changed again. He landed behind Meng Yu and pierced out continuously, only thinking of Master Exion's chrysanthemum spear. A few continuous thrusts, the tip of his spear moved, and he abruptly grabbed the end of the spear, sweeping the army of 1,000. The supreme force gushed in. A visible mark of power was left on the spear's body. It was extremely terrifying. At this moment, there was no sound at all from the audience, only absolute silence. Everyone stared at Long Fei, their minds thinking, who exactly is this young man? He's completely an existence that could completely suppress Meng Yu. Meng Yu looked at him. Not only was he not sad, his eyes were also brimming with happiness and fanaticism. He walked heavily to the front of the youth and knelt down. I pay my respects to young master. The entire audience was in an uproar. Young master. Long Fei. He is Long Fei. He's my idol, Long Fei. He's back. He's back. Countless people were in shock, and in their hearts, they were crying out. Long Fei did not know how strong his influence in the Yuan Long dynasty was. The reason why the Yuan Long dynasty was able to expand so quickly over the past 3 years was because of a very large factor. Because of his arrogance and arrogance. It was also because of his unruly nature. It was also because he was unwilling to admit defeat. Even if he faced the Nangong Imperial Clan, the Royal Heaven Sect, and the Blood Refinement Sect, he would not back down. This made all of the youths feel excited. This is what a fighter should be like. This was what martial artists pursued. Let the entire Yuan Long dynasty use martial arts training. Long Fei exterminating the 7 great demon sects made them excited. Long Fei killing the South Heaven young Master Sidufeng had excited them. Amongst the young generation of the Yuan Long dynasty, countless of people viewed Long Fei as their idol, a goal they had striven for their entire lives for. He was also the god in the hearts of countless young ladies. Now, Long Fei was standing right in front of them. The move he had displayed just now was simply too cool. Long Fei lightly dragged for a bit, then pulled Meng Yu up and smiled. "Big brother Meng." Meng Yu felt that Long Fei's power was definitely not as simple as a level 2 war emperor. His heart was filled with excitement as he thought to himself, "There is now a little more hope for us to fight against the rising sky sect. Let's go." We returned to the Long family. The Long family was still the Long family. It was not like the Nangong imperial clan where it lived in the palace. The palace was only a place to discuss matters. Long family's actions made many people admire him even more. "He's back. The young lord is back." When Long Shan heard this news, he madly ran back to the Long family and loudly shouted, "The young master has returned. The young master has returned." "Who's back?" A clang sound echoed in Lunatic Long's courtyard. With a swing of the dragon's tail, a courtyard was razed to the ground. This was not the first time this had happened. He could transform into a dragon now. However, this wasn't even a dragon like the dragon god of China, but a violent dragon like the Tyrannosaurus Rex. He quickly returned to his original appearance and rushed out. He instantly landed in front of Long Shan and said, "Explain to me clearly, who is back?" Long Shan said excitedly, "It's young Master Long Fei, Grandpa Sanfeng. Young Master Long Fei is back." It was also at this time Long Fei stood not too far away and looked at the energetic old man, whose eyes were filled with light. His eyes were a little wet, and tears couldn't help but pour down uncontrollably as he said, "Grandfather, I'm back." Inner conflict, inner conflict. This kind of longing for his family suddenly came into his mind, and Long Fei couldn't control it even if he wanted to. Long Sanfeng looked at the distant Long Fei and couldn't help but cry as well, "Xiao Fei." Long Fei threw himself into his grandfather's embrace like a child. Long Sanfeng said, "It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back." Long Zhanhai also excitedly ran over, his face full of excitement, as he said, "Xiao Fei is back." Long Fei regained his composure and said excitedly, "Uncle!" "Ha ha ha. I told you that you wouldn't die. How could Long Fei, who can massacre the 7 great demon sects and kill the young master of South Heaven, die? Ha ha ha." Long Zhanhai excitedly laughed out loud. In this period of more than a year, there was not a single piece of news related to Long Fei in Long family. Rumors have it that Long Fei had died, but no one in Long family believed him. Because Long Fei's surname was Long, he definitely wouldn't die so easily. At night, in the thatched courtyard that Long Fei used to live in, there was someone sweeping the place every day. "Jojo, that girl came back half a year ago, seeing that you aren't here anymore. She said that she will definitely rush to the Heaven sect after you made your appointment. The leopard girl is the same. After you left, they almost cried for half a month. These 2 girls are truly sincere towards you. Xiao Fei, you cannot disappoint them." Long Sanfeng reminded her. Long Fei nodded and said, "I know." Long Sanfeng giggled and said, "I recognize them as my grandchildren." "Right. Jojo seems to be a little different than before. I can't even sense the power from her body, and just by sensing it a little, she was already rolling in my sea of consciousness. Maybe she had another fortuitous encounter." Long Fei laughed faintly. "Jojo is the reincarnation of the phoenix. She must be really awesome." Long Zhanhai interrupted. "Xiao Fei, the 3-year agreement is only 10 days away. Our Long family has been preparing for 3 years. Long Fei being stomped by Hong Tianjun made the entire Long family unhappy. The disciples of the Long family were cultivating with all their might Yuan Long dynasty was beaten down by Long Fei. And now that Long Fei was being bullied, they had to retaliate. These 3 years. Every day, Long Zhanhai would think of a way to make the Long family and the Yuan Long dynasty strong, to make them comparable to any sect, just so that he could take revenge for Long Fei. Strongest upgrade system. The people of Long family must not be bullied. Long Fei definitely could not be bullied. Long Zhanhai looked at Long Fei and said, Long family is now more than 100 times stronger than before. Long Fei laughed excitedly. It's time to counterattack. Chapter 5. Thank you for your support. Thank you. 8_8419/2356821. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.